them live here. Helping new wholesalers. What do you guys think about the new setup here? Do you like it? I've got another studio I'm making upstairs. I figured that if I can switch the background more frequently, it'll help with engagement. So I'm building another studio upstairs. I've got a desk in there, a camera mount. I've got my Sony up there. Can non-US based also wholesale? Yeah, absolutely. We have so many, especially Egypt. Egypt is a massive hotspot for us in terms of foreign wholesalers. Anyways, Jason's going to hop on really quickly, and he's going to tell us about something exciting too. So I don't know if Jason's available. Welcome. Quick sip. Big fan. I'm a big fan. This is so much better than water. I'm finishing this on this live stream and maybe even another one. Okay, let's help some new wholesalers. Let's talk to Jason too. How many people we got in here? 107. All right, 107 it is. 107 people ready to take action. So who's new? Who's needing some help? Who's new here? Hey, Richard, bring me up. Sure. Let's just answer some like basic what the hell are we doing questions, because I will be the first person to be honest. I get it. Discord's kind of a hard platform to use. I get that. Let me move my camera over a little bit for y'all. Just a little bit. I feel like we should show a little bit more me than wall. Showing a lot of wall. We got new people on TikTok. Welcome. I am new and want to join you. Well, this live stream is for you. We want to help new members figure out how to take action here. So let's start with Harris. Harris, what's going on, man? How new are you?
Richard, not new at all. I've been probably more than a year now.
Oh, cool.
Never got a chance to talk to you. I had a pretty good story. I thought I'll hop on.
Yeah? Tell me about it, man.
How are you
doing? I'm doing well today. I started off my day with a little bit of basketball rather than jumping straight into work. Made me feel pretty good. How are you doing today?
Tired. I've been working since like 5 a.m. So.
Oh my God. Where are you? Where are you located right now?
I'm on the East Coast, North Carolina.
Oh, really cool. My business partner is from North Carolina. So what's your story? How can I help?
So I started out in Hold My Hand Wholesale around a year ago. And just take a guess how much assignments I collected last month.
Okay.
Take a wild guess.
Can I ask a prerequisite question first?
Yeah, go for it.
Are you text blasting or utilizing off market?
On market.
On market.
On market. I'm not even doing curator, fix and flip, and cash DSCRs.
I'm going to venture to say that you collected $18,000 in assignments.
Very far off. We collected $350 between me and one of my partners.
This would be I've never done $350 in a month wholesale. This would be a first for me. So, okay. Well, I guess we're jumping into a little interview now because that's insane. Wait, $350,000?
Yeah. Profit after basically that's after closing costs, that's after transactional lending, because I double close. And the thing is, the deals I'm bringing, occupied stuff, single family, multifamily, 30-40% cash on cash return. And I'm closing on somewhere around 18 units in the next 2 weeks. And we have another 25 units lined up that we just signed. We signed an 8 unit today. We signed another 8 unit today. We're working on a 20 unit. I am also working on an 81 unit in Houston, commercial, $4.5 million deal. So
who are your buyers?
Hold My Hand.
Who are your buyers?
Okay, so funny thing, my buyers, I'm my own buyer now because I started an investment fund. I'm raising money and buying myself. On top of that, but before that, I found buyers through Hold My Hand. I am now for the first time, I'm looking into Dispo because we have too much deals to sell. And the thing is, Hold My Hand didn't work for me for Dispo mainly because my deals were like not creative enough. So I kind of found basically family offices that are buying real estate for holding purposes, people who don't have the experience for real estate. And I offered like, hey, I'll manage it for you. right? I'll manage the real estate for you. So kind of going in a creative way, people who are putting money in 401ks and netting 15%, I'm like, hey, invest money with the in real estate, 35% cash on cash return on mainly that. I started out with like 50, 60, $70,000 Section 8 houses, kind of learned through trial and error, and now we're doing pretty good.
I don't know why I just did a thumbs down. I did not. Guys, that was Apple. That was not me. I'm not doing any hand signals. But okay. So where I guess the biggest thing is you're getting your deals off of Zillow. Where are you finding your buyers? Because that just means you've got the most powerful buyers list in the world.
The thing is, I honestly I have mainly 5 to 6 buyers that are creative enough, and they're buying. We're doing quite a lot of things, right? Mainly the thing is we have quantity plus more. So what I have on my end is we're finding deals that cash flow really freaking well, right? The highest cash flow I saw was like 60%. Then we're buying this 81 unit for it was listed for $4.5 million, and we are penning down that deal for 3.1, and
Okay.
ultimately the cash flow on that is like 52%, 53%,
And what type of
stuff like that. It's doing
building?
good.
What type of building is this?
It's a weekly rental motel in Houston, Texas.
Okay, so it's a boutique hotel in Houston, Texas, and it's listed for 4 point something. You got it for 3.1, and you're
Mhm.
selling it. You're selling it to. I get the profile of buyers, people who are.
I'm buying it myself. The thing is, I'm buying it myself because I have an investment fund now that I'm raising money for. I have a couple other partners in it. We're pooling money in because I've made enough money to be a own buyer, right? Now with my like 2 more partners, we have more than 60 units under management between the three of us, and basically I'm building stuff like that. Ultimately I got a top 100 magazine feature coming out this month, basically a top 100 entrepreneur in America for 2026. So mainly that I'm buying it, but I'm making a wholesale fee. Then I'm getting to own a share of it as well. I'm owning 1/3 of the building. Plus, I'm making my wholesale fee on that is 300,000
So
in just one deal.
you found the deal, and instead of just taking your 300K assignment, you're also taking equity in the property, but you're not having to pay the purchase price because your buyer is paying it and just kind of cutting you in.
Yeah, yeah, kind of cutting me in. And the thing is, we got DSCR lending lined up for that. I built enough contacts through Hold My Hand Wholesale. Pretty much, Hold My Hand is kind of my main server that I'm hopping on. I found my first deal here. I've been kind of in and out of the community for the past like honest. It will be a year in August. I started out last August. Hold My Hand Wholesale, and I've been inactive in times, but honestly, it was a good decision. I've been following you since like last February, and I got into that. I started off market, didn't work out for me, gave up, then did off market again, speed to lead, stuff like that. Didn't work out. Then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna invest and hold my hand. Let's try on market because the popular belief, oh, on market doesn't work, but it freaking worked. I got my first deal in 15 days, but I didn't end up selling it because it was fucked up. I was taking Section 8 rent instead of market rent, assuming Section 8 would pay the maximum amount. Learned through mistake, trial and error, trial and error. I didn't sell my first 10 deals, but after that, I sold my first deal. It was a fourplex. I made like $30,000 on that.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I get it. Your buyers are non-traditional investors, or people who are used to traditional investments that want a higher return on investment. You go find that for them. I'm wrapping my head around that part. You're getting a good discount off of the list price. Wrapping my head around
Mhm.
that part. The part that I'm confused about is who did you call to buy this sort of stuff? Who because
Okay, I have like the thing is I was in investment banking. I dropped out of college this March, by the way, to do this full time. I was in college when I started out. I was doing like 3 jobs and trying to make this work. I was investment banking, very good, very well connected on LinkedIn, very well connected. I was living in Chicago at the point, so very well connected in the finance space. So people reaching out. I had a lot of uh, coffee chats with people who were like making $200,000-300,000 in software engineering, stuff like that. I'm like, hey, where are you investing your money? Once I figured all of this out, and I was like, yeah, I have enough belief in me. Oh yeah, we're putting it in a 401k. What are you netting? Oh, 12%, 13%, 15% on average. It's like, hey, what if you pull some of the money out from there and invest in real estate? Walking them through a presentation, and they're like, yeah, so help them buy their first deal, help them buy their second deal. Now they have that confidence, running them through numbers instead of going to traditional investors who are looking for really creative deals and have way too much requirements. I found this new pool of buyers that have maybe 100 $200,000 saved up in their 401ks and their Roth IRAs, right? People like that. Then people who have insurance policies and they have money tied up in annuities and stuff like that, and having them, hey, put it with me. And now we're starting a fund, so now we're getting, instead of just having them buy the real estate and take the risk, I'm like, hey, I'll take the risk and I'll guarantee 15% return on your money. We'll target 20%, 20% profit, 15% guaranteed return, and we're buying deals that are netting 30%, 35%. So we keep all, and funny thing is, in this way, we keep 100% of the equity, but we give them the cash flow. So my net worth goes up. I get the control. I get more units under management. I get some of the cash flow, but I get to buy a lot of more of my deals.
So are
We're
you,
doing this as well.
how do you find more buyers like this? It sounds like you had a previous connection in investment banking. How do you find more people who want to acquire things like this? Because a lot of the buyers that we find just floating around on Facebook, they want to do a fix and flip. They want to buy a rental property. They don't have the capacity to buy big short-term rentals like that. So how do you find new ones? If somebody were listening to this and they wanted to find buyers like that, because finding these deals, it's not that hard. You just call guys. But where do you find a buyer like that? That's my big question. I understand where you
So
found them from your previous connection, but where
I
can
would
somebody
say
else do it?
for me, 30% of my buyers, I found them on Discord servers, right? One of my business partners, I found them through your server actually. And we started the fund together. I found him in your Discord randomly one day. He was looking for deals in Columbus, and I was like, hey, I have something around the area. I sold him a fourplex, and after that, we just started talking. I sold him a couple more deals, and then we were looking at a 50 unit together in Houston. We actually ended up going to Houston last 2 weeks ago. Lexi, right, from Gold Key?
Yeah, she's my business partner. I own Gold Key.
Yeah, she's very, yeah, I know, she's very involved with my business. A lot of times she's involved. She's TC on some of my deals, and even the 50 units, she's coordinating that for the fund. She's the TC. Even in my BC agreements, officially there is a clause that, hey, if I'm selling you something on a double close, I want Gold Key TC to be the transaction coordination on my
Wow.
buyers. Basically, I literally have that in the one of the
Wow.
clauses.
Yeah, Lexi, I mean,
So
she
I
she
have Gold
kills
Key.
it. She does a really
Yeah,
good
Lexi's
job.
been pretty amazing. Yeah, she's amazing to work with, right? So now, and he ended up then we ended up going to Houston, looking at the 50 unit. That deal didn't work out because it was supposed to be a turnkey. We go in and it's full of mold. It's 100% occupied, but it's full of mold.
Now,
So there are people living in apartments with mold.
what's their
What we found is the
financing
deals.
look like? Is the financing for something like this? Are they buying with a commercial loan? Are they putting down 25%? Is that what it looks like?
Commercial, yeah, commercial loan. For this one, we were able to. We're looking at 80% LTV. It turned into a fix and flip project. We looked at some hard money lenders, but mainly commercial loans for bigger deals. For smaller deals, DSCR stuff, every lender works. But for the biggest problem was finding a lender. Funny thing, Lexi was able to connect me with a lender on this, on the bigger deals. So honestly,
Wow.
most of my networking has been through hold my hand.
Wow. This is really interesting. Do you feel as though that you're scratching your buyers? Uh, I guess, are you fulfilling their entire capacity? Are you giving them as much as they can purchase, or are they able to purchase more?
The thing is, I right now I'm in shortage of buyers at this point because my acquisition team is pretty good. I set up a acquisition structure, like I was in the high ticket space as well, so kind of a lead gen, then appointment setup. So basically, I have VAs, kind of VAs, but instead of paying them, and so they are in commission. They get like 3 to 4% of the assignment fee. So they just look up leads on Zillow and calculate them and put them in a spreadsheet. Then I have people who are calling these leads and setting up appointment with my acquisition specialists, right? So let's say there is this guy sitting in Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan, so a lot of people are working for me from Pakistan, from Egypt, from Kosovo. So he's putting like 50 leads a day into a sheet that are good deals on paper. On a Google sheet, he's calculating, he's putting the realtor number, email, name, and then he's attaching a screenshot of the numbers that he calculated on that deal. Then there is a guy who's calling these leads and putting them in the CRM and just setting up an appointment, calling them, just getting the simple information: how old is the roof, HVAC, blah blah blah. Okay, this looks like a good deal. Let me set you up with the acquisition specialist. Then I have like total of like 20 guys who are getting on these calls and pitching offers. They're making 10, 15 offers a day. They acquire it, they get paid a percentage of the fee, right? So I have these small teams, four, five, six people each. They're acquiring it. I sign the contracts and then I go find a buyer and I pay them some of the fee. So this way we are able to do like the highest month we did 80 units in 1 month,
You know,
around 2 months ago.
it's really interesting because I run into individuals on my one-on-ones because people book my one-on-ones all the time, and I run into individuals who want to buy. Um, but one of the biggest connections I've encountered is my guy Joseph, and Joseph runs like a investment group of maybe like 5 to 10 individuals who consistently need to buy properties, and we find them single families, and they're able to buy maybe 5 to 10. But I've never run into somebody who has the capacity to buy as if a bank would buy. And what I mean by that is if you're moving $3 4 million buildings, then the down payment of 25% on $3 million, like this is the thing that people don't understand. 25% on $3 million, guys, your down payment's 800 grand with closing costs. Where are you finding buyers that have $800,000 repeat, not just once, but again and again and again and again? Because all of my reach on social media, it's passing these people up. I'm not running into it, you know?
The thing is, most of my buyers, social media and internet is really low on these buyers. I interned in investment banking, so bankers. Then I've established relationship with like my advisor at Merrill Lynch, right? He manages my account at Merrill. He brings in some clients time to time. Golf clubs. I've found so many clients at golf clubs, at city clubs, stuff like that. Investment firms, conferences, people who were moving money. And the thing is, it's more so of what I've kind of compiled my three life experiences. I was an engineering major back in high school and some college. Then I was a finance major. So finance, engineering, operational, and putting numbers together. I've built something that kind of establishes a credibility that hey, this is what I'm doing, rather than just being a simple approach. And now I've built a team together. I mean, I I have an assistant and I pay my assistant $150,000 a year. So this kind of it's more so of a network and people referrals are a really big thing for me because one of my partners he came through a referral. I did a deal with his brother. I helped his brother acquire a 8 unit building. He's getting 32% on that building for the last year, right? Fully occupied, bringing in a lot of money. Then he was like, hey, yeah, I want to invest more money. I was like, hey, I'm starting this fund. He put $150,000 in my fund, and then he saw some returns for a quarter, and then he was like, hey, my brother is interested. I was like, sure, bring him in.
Okay.
So I talked to his brother. His brother put in 100,000. Then they're doing more deals and where they're buying, managing it. I offer management as well on these properties. It's kind of more so. Kind of for some of my investors, I'm a financial advisor at this point. I'm offering a tailor around services like I'm helping them get access to capital. These people who have a good enough credit score, helping them get a ULOC, a HELOC on their houses, and having them invest that money, letting them I have a partner who runs a capital company. So credit cards, stuff like that, business credit cards, 100, $200,000, and having them invest that money because my returns are pretty amazing. Looking at all the deals I did in the last 6 months, I put together a basically 2 quarter report. Our average return on investment on cash flow was cash on cash return was 41% on average on all the deals we did.
So the question that everybody's going to be DMing you is how can they get started? How can they get started? And I don't even know if this is a possibility, but I don't have buyers like that. But what I do have is I have a lot of pull. I can move people in a certain direction to find certain deals. So you said you had a shortage of buyers. Now we can find a lot of these deals, but we can't find buyers for this. I mean, while you were talking to me, while you were telling me about this, I hopped over to Houston, Texas. I went on to Crexy and I found an 11 unit property that I could probably price drop at least $150,000 if I just gave them the right offer. It's 11 units. And if you buy something like this for $700,000, 100K below this, maybe you have a monthly payment of, I don't know, perhaps $6,000 per month. But if it's 11, I mean, maybe each of those rent out for $850. So this thing would have that high sort of cash on cash return. We could direct people towards contracting these, but I'll tell you right now, and I've told people this time and time and time again, if I get this thing at 150K discount and I put it through every buyer channel I could possibly reach, it won't sell. So that's the part that's not connecting for me, because I've done it time and time and time again. I offer significantly below list price. And guys, let's just do a little bit of math here. Just some quick maths. Let's say I get this thing for 700 and I send it to my buyer at 750,000. Hell, call it 725. I'm looking for a 25K fee on it, which is big bucks for us. The buyer is putting down $145,000. Their interest rate, because it's a decent property, we'll do it at 7%. 30-year amortization, and they got to put down 25% actually. So this is a commercial building. They're going to put down a little bit more. So maybe like 175,000, maybe 180,000. We'll call it 180,000, just about 25%. So this is their monthly payment. It's that 33,625. Taxes and insurance on something like this. I mean, it's Texas. The taxes are going to be pretty high. I would imagine they're around $1,700 a month for taxes and insurance. Let's just get the real numbers on this really quickly here. Tax information, 14,251 per year, 14,251. Divide that by 12, 1,187 per month in taxes. Let's say insurance on this thing is $450 a month. So they're paying about, wow, 1,700 was a good guess, about 1,637 per month, plus the P&I of 3,625, 3,625. So the monthly payments are just about 5,200. Now, this is in Houston, Texas. It's probably not in the best area, but the photos make it look like this thing's in pretty decent condition, especially with the roof. Looks like it was newly renovated. If this thing were fully occupied, I would imagine it's getting $850 per unit times 11, 9,350. We'll use 20% expense margins on this thing, and then we'll subtract our PITI of 5,262. So this thing right here at 100,000 below list produces this much per month, this much per year, and the total cost of acquisition on it, 180,000 plus closing costs. Let's say closing are 15, 195. So what kind of return is this? This is about 15%. It's about 13.6%. So this is an okay return.
If you get it for 450, I can move it, because that's the thing. I have a simple, like, how I'm training my salespeople is, let's say you calculated the rent at 9,350, right? Just take 9,350 on something that's commercial. It's going to have higher taxes, higher management expenses. Divide 9,350 by 1,800, right? 9,350 divided by 1,800, multiply that by 100,000. So 519,000. That's the total price a buyer would pay for it. 520.
What's
right?
the
Let's say we want to make a 50,000 fee on that. If anyone gets it at 470, this building is something that I can move.
What's your percentage off the rent? Do you take 20% off the rent?
Yeah, 10% management, 10% maintenance.
Okay, so you take 20% off the rent. And what's the minimum cash on cash return that your buyers will buy at?
32%.
Minimum is 32%.
Yeah, but that's the thing. These are buyers that have enough capital to put, right? They're not buyers who just start trying to start out. These are people who have, one of my partners, he's been in the development space. He did $8-10 million development in the Florida area, and then he moved to Columbus, and now he's just looking for a cash flow, generating $20,000-30,000 a month in cash flow, right? Rather than that,
30%.
I'll show you a deal. Give me a second.
Show me a deal. That's rare, man. Sure. 30%. So you must be getting a massive discount off of what it's listed for.
Oh yeah, massive discount. Like on this one, this was $850. This would make sense at $470 for me. Look this up. Give me a second. We just signed this today, by the way. I'm gonna.
Yeah, let's see some deals, man.
What's that?
Because I'm just looking at these.
2265 East 5th Street. 2265 East 5th Street in Dayton.
And is this they're buying nationwide? You don't really have a.
No, I'm acquiring with my partners. $399. I have this for $300.
Okay, so let's run through this.
And it's bringing in $5,600 a month. It's fully occupied.
$5,600 a month, fully occupied. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as condition goes, do you have any concerns with condition? It doesn't look to be in bad shape. It just looks like some rental wear and tear.
It's pretty good. We're walking through this somewhere this week. One of my partners is in Columbus. right next to Cincinnati. So he's just gonna. It's a 2 hour drive. He's gonna go walk through it. It's generating 700 a room, $5,600 a month already.
Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll lock something up and I'll send it to you and we can go 50-50 on it and see if your buyers are interested in it because these things get sent to me all the time. I just only offer creative on this, but I'm very curious about your cash on cash return. So you have it at 300. What do you propose sending this to your buyer to? 320?
330 probably.
330,000. And they could probably put down 20% on this because it's a
Yeah,
duplex.
20%. This is simple. I put 4% closing cost because inspections are also a thing. Appraisal,
Yep.
people don't estimate that, but at the end of the day, he's gonna spend 4% at least closing it, right? Title, inspection, appraisal. Even if he gets 1 point origination, 4%. Averagely, we spend around 4%.
So yeah, let's definitely do the math on it. So it looks like
Yep.
1756, 1756. Okay. We're looking at paying this much per month. You said it's occupied at 5,000 for
600, 600,
5,600.
5,600.
And you're just taking that 20% off the top as we teach, right?
Yep.
Okay, that 20% comes off the top. Let's subtract the 27. Yeah, it's going to be a cash cow. 2733 makes this much per month. That's a lot for a duplex. Makes this much per year, and the total cost of buying is only going to be you're using 4% for closing costs,
Yeah, 66.
330,000
So we're
times.
looking at what,
So
72,000 probably.
interesting. Okay,
72,
13,200 for closing costs plus 66,000, um,
79.
79,000, and then we divide. It's a crazy high return, very very high return.
Yeah. Yeah,
Divide by
there is
your
some other strategies on the back end that we should really hop on a private call. I have a lot to discuss with you. I really think we can find some synergy here.
Yeah, I don't I'll be so transparent. I don't really have the buyers for stuff like this. I have the army of deal finders, and if you can scale up your buyer operation, you can be another connection. You know the guy I'm always calling on. I don't know how many of these live streams you watch given how well you're doing, but there's a guy I'm always calling in my live streams and I just sell deal after deal after deal after deal, not to him, but to his network. And that's
Mhm.
exactly how we could be working with you as I don't have buyers for stuff like this. Like my content and my reaches and in our marketing that we run on YouTube to gather buyers, it just doesn't yield people like this. So do you think you're able to bring more of these people to the table, or are you getting as
Yeah,
many
no,
deals
the
as you
thing
can
is,
process?
I'm raising this quarter. I have LOI signed for over $1 million, right? That people are depositing. We received around $300,000 in investments, right? When we have another 700,000, we have to collect over the next 2 weeks. I will have $1 million to invest in the market myself on the fund, right? So I'm a buyer. We're acquiring hopefully 100 units in the next, because we're acquiring a 81 unit. That skews the numbers for us, but we're looking to acquire 100 unit in the next month. So that's the thing. We have this whole opportunity where I will be a buyer, right? So because I don't wanna just make 20, 30K in fees. I want the equity. I ultimately, my goal when I was a finance major, I worked at Morgan Stanley. The goal was ultimately 10 years, 15 years down the line, I open a private equity firm, I open a hedge fund, right? But being in real estate, it just allowed me to do all of that stuff right now, right? That hey, I can get these returns, I can put these deals together. I have the knowledge of it, so I just feel this is good. And I have a series 7 lawyer that is putting all of this together. Currently we're working under the 506C, that we can raise up to $5 million from accredited investors. But we're putting together something called a reg 2 and reg 3, and then we'll be able to just market it and collect checks from everyone
Interesting.
openly.
So I brought Juan on stage here. Juan was telling me about a Detroit complex that we were looking to get seller financing on. That was you, Juan. You had a complex in Detroit that we were going to seller finance, but we didn't end up being able to make it work.
Yeah, to Robert, right?
Yeah, this guy has buyers because that thing was a cash cow, right? It was just a crazy cash flowing deal. There was just something in there that didn't make it work, but it would work for a lump sum
Yeah.
deal like with a DSCR loan, right?
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Okay. Do you still know
I
the
know
ad?
Eric. What's up, Eric?
Do you still know the address on that?
I have to look it up.
Dude, find
Second.
find that address and those numbers because those are really, really good numbers. So Harris, your guys will pretty much buy anywhere. And I think that if we're targeting above 20% cash on cash, That's hard to find in markets like Texas or even Florida. That would be really a lot easier to find in places like Ohio and Michigan and Alabama and these cheaper markets. So would you say you're mostly finding these in cheaper markets, or is it more expensive places?
So currently, the markets that I personally own stuff in now with my fund that we started, it's we own stuff in Dayton, Columbus, Cleveland, Pittsburgh suburbs, Houston, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, the whole Pascagoula, Biloxi Strip, then Montgomery, Birmingham. It's kind of a mix, right? The, we're focusing on St. Louis market now, trying to find some things there. The whole thing is, it's just if the cash on cash makes sense, we can put together a deal anywhere. We're not focusing on one market. That I'm trying to buy everywhere except Alaska, Hawaii, and Illinois, because Illinois tenancy laws are very weird. I lived in Illinois and I've seen how weird they are, and how as a tenant, because I was a student back then, how much rights I had as a tenant and how a landlord can pretty much get fucked really easily. So that's why I don't touch Illinois.
Interesting. Now check this out. Here's your 25%, 35% cash on cash return deal. So it's not that hard to find, guys. It's pretty easy to find. I just pulled a multifamily in Dayton, Ohio. I can see it's got a new roof. It looks to be in pretty good condition. It looks like they've renovated it recently. That's nice LVP. That's nice countertops. Everything looks to be pretty good in here. And honestly, these folded up towels, this is a short-term rental. That's a short-term rental here. So this is the keyword averaging. Keyword averaging. It says it's averaging 10,300 a month, 10 units total. Consists of 5 small studio 1-bedroom units, 5 private rooms. So they're doing some sort of like property share short-term mixed with long-term thing. You wouldn't see these folded up towels, and then honestly, such nice amenities in a property like this. It just, you wouldn't have the vending machine if it were long-term stay. I feel like this is a short-term thing. It's generating $10,300 per month. It's going to have more expenses because it's short-term, but check this out. I think this is the one. I think this one hits what you're looking for. And you tell me if there's something that I'm not looking at that you don't like, but 3060 is that monthly payment with 20% down. 1277, and I'm going to increase the insurance. I think it's more expensive. So
Yeah, probably
1265 1265. I'm going to use the 350 for insurance. So we're paying this much per month. Now, they're averaging 10.3, but I'm going to assume expenses are more. I'm going to actually assume that these expenses are closer to 30%. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I think that there's like employees that help run it. So I'm going to say 30% expense margins. Maybe they bring in 7210, and what comes out 4675. So that's a 30% expense margins multiplied by 12. You're looking at $30,000 per year. Total cost of buying something like this, about 125K. And that's if I use 30%. Now, expenses may not be that steep, but if that were to be the case and 30% came off of the top just for whatever they run into each month, that's still 25% cash on cash. Now, I'm running that at $575,000. So I kind of want to call them and pitch 2 offers. I'm going to hit them with $550K, $100,000 below their asking price. But I'm also going to go ahead and hit them with a creative finance offer based on their mortgage, because what I will say is we have buyers for this for creative finance all day long. And if I'm not able to get it with creative finance and they're more inclined to take my cash offer, no worries. So it's not telling me if they have a loan on the property, which is, well, here we go. Yes, it is. They owe $390,000 on it. So what do you think? What do you think? If I lock this thing up for $550,000, you think you could squeeze 25K out of it?
Oh, easily. Probably if I would say if we lock it at 500, I can easily squeeze like 45,000 out of it. The thing is, there is a whole, backside of these deals that I would love to share with you, kind of underwriting wise, because we're doing a little bit something different. Because the thing is, we are not buying creative at all. We are only buying cash DSCR deals, right? So we're flipping the script. We found a way to buy these things with a DSCR loan that is more favorable than a creative deal with ultimately 5%, 6% down, right? So literally, I was on a call with my acquisition guy, and I was like, hey, Damon, I need you to just, I don't want you to make creative offers anymore. If you want to go for it, but I'm not buying creative anymore. I'll have to put it on, probably dispo because I just don't even want to look in creative because my ultimate now goal is I'm getting 50% equity in these deals. I'm getting some of the cash flow on deals I'm buying on a 80% LTV loan. So why not do that rather than buy creative that I will just make I would rather make $10,000-15,000 on a deal rather than make 25 on just a dispo, right? I would make 10,000 fees and keep it. I would show you the backside of these deals, how we're underwriting it and the fund, but a lot of that information is kind of covered with NDAs. So let me do this. I'm going to shoot you my number. Once you're free, just shoot me a text, and I can show you a little bit on the backside what how is it all working and how we're able to buy that much stuff.
Something that caught my attention was 5% down, which makes me think that there's some sort of seller taking the second position situation where the DSCR lender comes in, funds the down payment, and then the seller kind of kicks you back money at the close of escrow. But that's kind of a creative structure like the equity carry Morby method type thing.
Yeah, I
Is
would say there is somewhat of a Morby method thing involved, but not in the way you're thinking. That's kind of the part I'll kind of explain to you on a separate call rather than just discussing it here. Because other partners involved, we're covered with at least I would say 8 or 9 NDAs that I can't publicly discuss that. But yeah, there is something like that involved, not in the way you're thinking, something similar to that.
okay. Okay. Interesting. Now I actually have another student who has one of these things. I'm gonna make this call right here, guys, and I'm gonna see if I can make something happen on this because I think it's pretty straightforward. I can find a cash flowing building, no problem. That's super, super easy. I'm gonna ask him a couple.
I just texted you my number. Can you see that?
Let me shoot you a text. Just a second here.
Just shoot me a text and we'll connect after your stream and sit down because dude, the honest thing is what I'm doing I owe a lot of it to you because I mean I learned here. I started out here. I'm really really on the server now. I hop on some streams here and there, but mainly I started out here in the trenches. I started doing it when you used to have the course on YouTube, right? And you used to have those quizzes and stuff like that like a year ago, last August.
Yeah. Well, this is great, man. A lot of people will run with this and they'll develop their own thing, and I love to see that happening here. Let me make a call really quickly here. But yeah, I just shot you a text. Did you get that?
Yep, I did.
Okay. Wow. Okay, let me go ahead and give this individual a call, and let's just learn how to talk to these people a little bit, guys, because I'm all about demonstrating this. Why isn't my phone ringing? Please ring. I'm trying to record this call. Why won't it do that? Will it ring on my phone, please? Wow, what? Salesmate, come on. It's supposed to ring on my phone when I do this. Okay. All right. I guess Salesman is not working right now. That's fine. We will just call with my personal. I wanted to do that, guys, because it automatically records the call and you guys can listen to it, but we're calling on my cell. The call failed. Maybe that's just not her phone number. I'll try that one more time, guys, but I think that's not her phone number. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. New Carlisle, Ohio. Oh, it's telling me I don't have service on my phone. That's what's going on. Oh, that's what's going on. Okay. Well, now it's back. Now it should work. Gosh, this woman's probably like, why did he call me so many times? Let's try that one more time. No. Call. Should work now. Wow. Okay. Fascinating. We have to call in the cell. I thought that was the reason, but here we go. Call failed, and I have the service. Well, I'll be honest. This is a first. This is a first. I've never run into this before. It's not letting me call at all. 3 bars, but as the phone starts to ring, well, we will shoot them a text. I guess that's the only thing I can do right now. I've honestly never seen this. Super strange. Is Xenia Ave still available? I'm working on getting pre-approved with my lender now. So we shot her a text. Geez, that's really unfortunate. I really wanted to have a conversation right now, but phone is not able to call. Okay. Well, this is super interesting information. You mentioned that you thought there was some overlap here in what we're doing. What do you foresee? What's your ideal outcome?
I mean, the thing is, you have the deals together and the marketing presence. I think because once we're actually, are you familiar with warehouse line of credit?
No, I'm not.
One of my buddies is just getting his broker's license, and we are funding him a warehouse line of credit. What that allows you to do, that allows you to basically go to Merrill or go to an investment bank like SunTrust or JP and have them issue you a warehouse line of credit. That will be like a line 20, 30, $40 million. And they'll give you a set of terms and you can write your own loans at 3%, 4%. And then you write those loans at the end of the quarter. You go ahead and sell it to a mortgage servicer like Freddie or Fannie, or there are so many servicers, and you make money writing these loans as well. But what you can do is you can write loans at better than market rates, right? You can write loans at 4.5%, 5.5%, depending on what the Fed rates are. So you get loans at a cheaper rate, and you can write up to 100% of the financing, because every mortgage whose servicer has different requirements. There are mortgage servicers who will look at appraisal values instead of the purchase price, right? So the whole thing is a mortgage broker wants to make sure a servicer would buy the loan. So if you're writing your own loans, you can write up to 100%, 95%, 90% LTV as well. And just you need to have a backline lined up, someone who will buy the bank. My connections are mostly at Merrill. I know a couple big investment bankers who have books of billions of dollars at Merrill in New York, in Florida, that would ultimately be able to connect me with the servicers and stuff like that. So we're trying to get a warehouse line of credit and write our own loans ultimately. Where I see this is, with that, we won't even need a down payment to buy real estate for our own fund. So ultimately, what I could see is, buying deals from you and using your network, kind of compiling our buyers list and, building something. Because my whole ideology in business has always been, instead of having the whole pie, I would rather have a small piece of a bigger pie.
Okay. Ultimately, because what we can do, if it's proven, I have to prove it first, but if it's consistent and it's something that we can do, that where the deals don't just fall apart for no reason, because we used to do a lot of deals where it just fall apart for absolutely no reason, and it still happens from time to time, like Sue's deal. There's no reason for that falling apart whatsoever. But if this is something that is repeatable and provable for us, we can open up a buy box that explains the criteria, teaches people how to find it, and you can have your acquisitions passively, and you can also get a cut of the assignment fee.
My main goal would be here, kind of, because you have access to buyers as well. You have access to investors who are just afraid to dip their toe with the real estate responsibilities. We could come up with something where we are raising money together. There is just so much avenues, right? Real estate is big. There is so much things we could do together. So that's kind of why I'm like, hey, we can probably find some angle where we can work together, right? That's the thing, because I would say, I mean, you have been like a mentor to me for the last good part of last year when I was, starting out. So it's kind of, it would be fun working with you. And dude, at the end of the day, I'm 20 years old. I just turned 20 last month. So there is a lot of room for me age wise where I can, just, if not today, down the line, for something.
Did you grow up in the United States?
No, I moved to US 3 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that's it, because our citizens aren't this capable most of the time. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't really know where to start. Congratulations on your success. This month that you've had, the $300,000. I mean, with everybody in the community, we've hit like 250 before. with everybody's deals, like everybody sending deals and having a really, really good month, we've hit like 250. So you having a month of 350, especially at your age, is not something I've seen with just real estate before. With social media income, sure, but just doing that in real estate is great. So yeah, we'd love to take advantage of this in any way that we can. And I think the best way to do this, guys, so that we don't end up canceling a ton of contracts, I'll go ahead and contract a property. I'll ask him if he thinks it's a deal, based on my underwriting. And if it ends up getting EMD in, we'll go ahead and we'll open up a little education platform, meaning I'll just open up another course that breaks down how I find these deals and how I negotiate these deals. And you're getting these things off of Zillow, just sitting on market through your
Yeah.
acquisitions team.
Now we're doing some off market. How so is basically I have worked with these realtors, right? So many deals. If we're putting 20 deals together a month on average, 15 deals. So we work with these realtors. So at this point that, hey, so let's say uh, one of my really good business partners at this point, Javon, he's a real estate agent in Houston, right? So now I've done like 3 deals with him. He sends me deal every week. Anything that hits his desk before putting it on, he puts together a package and sends it to me. And he's like, hey, this is something. Do you think you will buy it? So before it even goes to the market, I can get it off market. But ultimately, if I say no, he'll put it on the market. That way, I've got these real estate agents that are sending me deals. Let's say I bought one deal off of this agent, John. That's I'm buying 3 deals in Cleveland right now that we just put the EMD on today. So he came to me and was like, hey, the same owner owns another 13 listings that he wants to ultimately offload. They're currently off market. And we made an offer for it under a blanket loan for 350 that we're buying. We picked up like 6 properties off of that. We're like, hey, these are the 6 that I'm interested in. These are single family homes, and we put down a blanket offer. So now this is something we're also doing because, when you're performing, most real estate agents, when they're working with someone that's young, when they're working with groups with the whole wholesaling having such a bad image, is performance, right? Once they know you can perform, they bring you deals a lot of time. Because as much of the time I am reaching out for deals, at least 50 to 60% of the times people are reaching out to me with deals. Real estate agents, realtors I've worked with in the past, buyers I've worked with in the past, that hey, this is something that I wanted to sell. I get a lot of referrals on this side as well. I bought something from a buyer. He's like, hey, this is it was lovely working with you. You guys were very transparent with the whole process. It was quick. It was fun. My brother has this house he wants to sell. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll run the numbers, put in an offer. They know they don't have any issue with performing. They know that we'll perform on it, and yeah. We end up canceling some contracts at the end of the day because we can't buy everything, can't sell everything. So, but we have a good 80 to 85% performance rate that we're buying. 85% of the stuff we're getting under contract. The stuff I don't end up buying myself, or I don't have a buyer on, I sometimes put it on hold my hand. Sometimes I put it on, I use top brokerage. They have a dispo service done for me, dispo. Basically, I put it there. I'm now getting investor based, trying to reach out to more buyers, more, mom and dad buyers, landlords, stuff like that. But yeah, like for example, I have something, I'm not sure if you will have a buyer for it. It's in Detroit. Do you have a buyer in Detroit? I'm going to send you the address.
Yeah, we have lots of buyers in Detroit.
I just got this on Saturday. Take a look.
Chalmers?
Chalmers, yeah.
I'm checking.
You can open it on stream. It's under contract.
140K multifamily. Yeah, I could probably call somebody right now.
Take a guess how much I have this for. We have it at a major discount.
Well, let me run through this.
Very clean. It's owner occupied. It's going to be vacant at closing. It's 2 units. It's a 2-1 and a 1-1. It can rent for $2,000 on market rent.
Has it rented for that in the past?
It was owner occupied. So
what do you get it for? Like, would you get it for like 70K?
Number they're coming back at.
You get it for like 70K?
Yeah. I have it for 90K.
$90,000. Okay, solid discount.
Yeah.
Can rent for $2,000.
$2,000 discount.
So we could probably throw that to a buyer at $100,000, which is
105. That's what I was expecting.
20 down, 532 per month, 532. Taxes are going up in Detroit. Let's call it 400 for taxes and insurance. 932. and it can rent for 2,000. If you take off 20%, it's 1,600. Subtract the 932 per month. Where did that go?
Taxes are 107, and the insurance is 120 on this.
The taxes in Detroit are unfortunately way higher than that. Oh.
I got it off prop stream, I think so.
So I think they're lower than 432, but taxes in Detroit are going up. I've got 6
They're
units.
currently 107 a month on prop stream.
But when you buy, properties get reassessed. So every single purchase triggers a reassessment unless you're taking over the mortgage on the property. So this 1278 is from the last sale, which was for $2,700 in 2008. So when you buy, it's going to get reassessed, and taxes will probably be closer to $300 per month. So 932, and you're looking at 668 cash flow, which is good. Monthly, you're looking at 8,016, and then total cost of buying is going to be about 30 on this.
24,000.
Your closing costs on a DSCR loan are, the title fees are probably about 3, and then with your loan origination and points on every HUD that we've seen, they're closer to 10. So looking at about 30,000. I can show you some HUDs if you want, but your DSCR lender charges at least 2 points.
Around 4 or 5%. That's the thing usually.
I don't know what the hell happened in my math just there, but multiply by 12, 8,016, divide by 30. So you've got a good cash on. You've got a good 26% cash on cash return on this. My only fear is that the buyers are very rigorous about their inspections, and the house looks good to me. I just worry that it might show some additional things that we're not seeing here. There's really only one. Yeah. There's only one photo that makes me think there might be some additional things. I don't know what's going on here, but if the seller were willing to offer, well, they might not even need a concession since we have such a steep discount. So yeah, I mean, let me go have somebody walk this really quickly. So let me. Oh, the agent on. Can you send a pro forma or any documentation showing that income? This is the agent in Dayton right now. I'm texting back and forth with her. But yeah, let me call. Hopefully my phone is working here.
Yeah, we can walk this with probably a 20-hour, 24-hour notice. So it's owner occupied, so it's not a tenant situation.
I don't know if my phone's gonna ring. I'm gonna FaceTime audio, or I'll FaceTime him. Geez, I'm not sure what's going on with my phone right now. T-Mobile, you guys said was down or something? Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing, buddy. I'm doing. What's up?
I wasn't able to call you because T-Mobile's service is down right now, and nothing will ring.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's affecting everybody.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But hey, a student just showed me a deal that was initially listed at 150, duplex in Detroit. Got it for 90. Got it for 90, and it's
Okay.
so it's 60,000 below its initial list price. And we thought I'd send it to you guys at 100. House looks pretty clean. Can rent for about 2,000. You're probably looking at about 1,200 on the main unit and 800 on the other, since it's a 1-1 on the other unit. But it's under contract now, so no hypothetical. I was wondering if and when you guys wanted to walk it.
When's it available to walk, and how long is it until earnest money's due?
Let's find out. I think he signed today, so he probably has 7 days until EMD.
Give me a second. Damon, I'm on a call with my acquisition guy as well. Damon, how long do we have for inspection on Chalmers?
Yeah, we have 7 days.
7 days, yeah. And EMD is due at the end of inspection, right?
Okay. Joseph,
we can walk it for 24-hour notice.
I haven't checked the spot chrome at all here. I actually don't know. I can't answer that question. It was listed for, oh yeah, it looks pretty good. I'll show you the area. Check this out. This is where it is. So you've got your vandalisms and your assaults and everything that you have in Detroit, but it doesn't seem like the worst area in the world, I'd say.
What's the zip code?
48213.
Okay, good. Just text me over the address.
All right.
And what obviously you got it under contract for 90. So the next question is, what needs to be fixed on the property? Like, what's wrong with it?
I don't think a whole lot is wrong with the property. I'm sure there's some minor wear and tear just from tenants, but roof looks good. The reality is, if you make a low enough offer enough times, the seller's going to take it. I mean, we had this. I'm sure it's got a little bit of roughness around the edges.
I expect that.
Yeah, there's always going to be something, But as I look through these,
currently cash flowing. Sorry, it's already collecting rent or no?
it's owner occupied right now, and when the owner leaves, it'll be able to rent for that much. But I think that's a low estimate because it's a duplex in Detroit. It's a 3-1, so you've got 2,000 square feet. So one of the units is probably 1,000 square foot, 2-bed, 1-bath. We know those rent out for minimum 1,000, but up to $1,300 in Detroit. And then the other's a 1-1. I bet you're getting anywhere from 700 to 800 for a 1-1.
Okay, the other one is a 1-1.
Yeah, it's a 3-1 duplex, so layout's not ideal, but discount is strong.
That would make sense more so on the discount price.
Yeah. So
So it's a 3-1 and a 1-1.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it's a 3-1 total. So the layout of it is a 2-bed, 1-bath and a 1-bed, 1-bath.
For 90, okay, or for 100.
We can do 99, so it's a little bit nice looking.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I'll take a look at it. Just that's
Cash on cash is 26% at that price.
okay. Hey, we'll take a look at it. Yeah, shoot up the address. I'll get it looked at.
All right. Should I put it in Slack so it doesn't fall through the cracks?
But always put it in Slack so it doesn't fall through cracks. Yes, please.
Okay, I'll put it in Slack too, and I'll also send it over to Quaid.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah. Text me when and if you want to walk it so I can schedule that with the wholesaler.
I'll get that done. Thank you. If you've got any other deals, don't hesitate to give me a call.
There's so many. I'm just like picking and choosing the best ones to send it over to you.
Beautiful. As always, I appreciate it.
Perfect. Okay. I'm going to put this in Slack. We'll talk soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Okay. He'll walk it. He'll walk that. I sent it to him at $99,000 just so it's nice and appealing. These guys care about condition immensely. Condition is very important to these individuals. So yeah, I'd say we can definitely get this over to him. Let me go ahead and throw this into Slack just so that they can walk it, and I'll shoot you a text when they want to walk. Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to send you the PSA?
Not yet. I don't need it. I don't need it quite yet. You can DM it to me if you want, but let's go ahead and schedule a time with the. Are you talking to the realtor or the owner?
Realtor.
Realtor. Okay. So I'll say at. Whoa! Slack just changed. So I'm gonna at Quaid. The only place I could see this falling short is condition, but your price justifies it. And I don't think the condition's bad. I just think these guys are picky as hell. But you've got a nice discount here, so I think the price should and will justify this. But yeah, we'll go ahead and have their manager walk the property. And when the property manager walks, we will know a little bit more about this. But yeah, I'll tell you what, I will hop. I'll end this stream a little bit early. I'll do another hour on here, and then I'll hop on a meeting with you. Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. But anyway, just to end it, I'm gonna go to the gym probably for a bit because I've been on my desk for the last 15 hours now. 15 hours. I've been working since 5 a.m. in the morning because I am working with some investors out of England at this point now. Because the thing is, having my fund is allowing me to raise money from EU. I'm raising money from Singapore, from some people. That's the whole thing. Being able to raise money is what's kind of letting me buy as much as I want to. So, but it requires a lot of work. So I'm just gonna hop off, but kind of just to end it, because everyone who's here, like we have quite a lot of people. Trust me, the shit Rich is teaching you, it works if you just put your head down and do it. Really. the thing is, most people give up in their first month. That's what I have seen mostly, in wholesale. But you can't expect, Rome wasn't built in a day. You need to just get down, do it again and again, and honestly, it will start working just once you get familiar with it. People get their first deal, it won't sell, and then they give up. It's just there was something wrong with the deal. Just you just can't grasp it yet. I used to think the same way when I got my first deal and it didn't work out. That hey, oh, the whole thing is it's a scam. It doesn't work, but it just does. It just takes some trial and error, right? And really, success is just hopping from failure to failure with enthusiasm. But
Dude,
hey,
I love
keep
that.
up the good work, Rich.
I find
I'll talk to you soon.
that it's similar, guys. I've canceled so many contracts, and every single cancellation you learn something, and then you add that to your arsenal, and you keep moving forward. Guys, I'm gonna pee really quickly, and then we'll be back. But wow, that's not what I expected. We were supposed to talk to some new members. Guys, like, bring me up, and I'm like, absolutely, we'll bring you up. And this just went in a completely different direction. So wow, thanks for sharing this, man. How motivating this must be to see somebody doing it entirely different from what we're doing and having so much success with this. So, dude, we're gonna keep this live stream going, guys. We got a lot more to talk about, but these are the types of connections you can make in Hold My Hand Wholesale. You found your business partner and your initial connection just in here. Somebody looking to buy in Ohio.
Yeah, I. The funny thing is, we just met in Houston for the first time after a couple months working on the 50-unit deal. So we were just sitting, at a three-star restaurant laughing on a rooftop that it was so freaking random that he just sent in a message in the chat looking for something, and I said, hey, DM me. And we just got to talking. Like, it was so random. And now, we're making so much money together. We're putting together $3-4 million in deal every month, and it was just so freaking random that we got to chat because of Hold My Hand Wholesale and hopping on a random server at a random time,
It's
but at the same time with each other. It's
it's
so
crazy
random,
that
but
that
things
just
work
lined
out.
up.
Just if you just keep doing it, keep up the motivation and you do it, things at the end of the day they work out. It just sometimes takes time.
Sorry, I'm telling my editor to clip this because I want to post this on social media. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna save your number.
Perfect. I sent you the PSA as well on this messages.
This is excellent. Well, I'm gonna let you know when he wants to walk it. And I think that'll probably be we'll give you 24 hours notice so that you can let the realtor know.
Perfect. All right.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you in an hour. Just shoot me a call whenever you're ready. I'm pretty much free the entire evening after this.
Huge. And guys, we'll resume our normal live stream right after this. Give me a quick second for a bathroom break. But wow, great. Super inspiring, guys. Give me like 60 seconds. I'll be back in 60 seconds. Okay. One moment. All right, we're back. Wow, what a story, guys. I closed my first sub 2 this weekend. Sue, you got paid out on a deal? Guys, I closed meaning like HUD statement paid out. Contracted is different. Sold is a little different too. But even getting something under contract like that is awesome. So I'm happy to hear that. She got under contract. Well, that's really good. So I'm really happy to hear that. Wow. Okay. Got a lot of people asking how to join and how to network with individuals like that. We'll bring them on another live stream. There's lots of individuals like this in Hold My Hand Wholesale. And if you just click the link in my bio, you can hop in here and hopefully make a life-changing connection or learn something new. All right. So just a couple things, and Harris, let's aim to meet in about an hour, man. I'll hop off here in about an hour, and we'll jump onto a little meeting here. But I wanted to bring up some new members and just help them out really quickly. Vandross 87. I'm sorry that turned into such a long conversation, man. That was just a fascinating. I had to see what was there.
Yeah, I totally understand. It was unexpected, but a really good call. Yeah, I'm completely new, so it's the whole contrast compared to what Harris was saying there. I heard about the community about 2 weeks ago, or about 3 weeks ago, and my
How'd you hear about us?
Timo. I worked with him, Timothy D, and he invited me up. It kind of was a referral. He's been telling me for a couple of weeks now, maybe months, to join, because I've been doing off-market deals, or trying to be doing off-market deals. And he said, like, what you provide for $20 is there's so much value in it, and just based off this call with Harris, I can clearly see why.
Yeah, that's insane. You joined on a good day, man. I can't say that every single live stream goes like this. Typically, we do a lot of deal review, a lot of calls. But yeah, this just took a totally different turn. And guys, I'll try my absolute best to monetize that connection for you guys. Okay, I'll try my hardest. But anyways, I wanted to see if there's anything that was new and confusing, because Discord is a headache to use. It's hard to use, and I wanted to bring you up and see if there's anything I could help you out with. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really familiar with the creative side of deals and doing on-market deals when it comes to calling realtors. So I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what that approach is.
Yeah,
I had a lead today that the property is worth. She's asking 800 or 850,000, and she said it's free and clear. So I was going to bring that up to you today to see if I could learn while you showcase.
Yeah. What's the address on that one, man? Let's pull it up right now and see what we can do.
Okay, it's 5331 Miller Avenue in Dallas. It's send it to you on the chat.
All right, Dallas, Texas. Looks like an off-market single-family house. Maybe I have the wrong one. 5331 Miller Ave, Dallas.
Yeah, that's the lead I was speaking with today.
Where did you find this this listing here? Because it looks like it's not for sale on market, or at least not on Zillow.
It was an off-market deal. I just happened to call it while I was making my calls, so I was wondering if.
I'm so curious. How did you run into this thing?
This particular lead, I believe, it came from a community called Aria Reply. So they look for Aria Reply Creative. They look for kind of off-market deals or for sale by owner leads.
Interesting. Okay.
I just happened to be dialing some leads, and I came across this, spoke to the seller. They said that they're looking to sell. I asked how much. She said 800 to 850, and asked her if she had any mortgage on the property, and she said no. So I kind of wanted to bring this across yourself, see if.
Got it. Okay. Do you know what the interior looks like? Is it like this right now, do you think? Looks like it.
It's been vacant for a while. I wouldn't know, to be honest.
I feel like this is its current condition. I see the photos say March 2025. That could be inaccurate. But if we look at the front shot of the house and then what that thing kind of looks like on Google Maps, looks to be pretty similar. It looks like this was taken in 2026 or so. So do they have these lights here? Let me just make sure they have those lights there too. They don't have those lights. So there maybe a slightly different time that these photos were actually taken. Okay, so here's the first place my brain goes is, would it be a good rental property? Would it be a good idea to hold this thing as a rental? It's held by some sort of rental entity right now. But if you bought this, your mortgage is going to probably be about $5,500 per month, maybe $6,500 per month. And the rent is going to probably be around the same amount. So when we think about holding something like this as a rental property, or at least how my buyers think, you're putting down about $200,000. Your monthly payment's about $6K, and your rent is about $6K, which immediately makes me think we've got to do something else with this, which is probably some sort of value add, fix and flip, get it at a steep discount, relist the property. So I'm not thinking about a rental at all right now because it doesn't cash flow as a rental. I'm thinking that somebody might want to renovate this for a profit. So this all comes down to what we could get the property under contract for and what it would sell for. So I always like to look in the area and figure out what houses are selling for as well. So I'm going to put in our zip code. I wouldn't say we typically go after properties like this, but I'm going to throw in the zip code and I'm going to try to find where we are by looking at the prop stream map. So here's the prop stream map. You can see that road. It starts to bend and then we're right about there. We can see that there's a little shape there that we're in. Let's see if we can find that. So the road starts to bend and then we're somewhere in this little shape right around here. Let's look a little bit more closely. There's that triangular shape. We're a couple streets above it on Miller Ave. So try to find the triangle. There's the triangle. We're a couple streets above on Miller Ave. Yep, there's Miller Ave. So we're right here. Now, I want to get the dimensions of the property. It's a 4-bed, 4-bath with 2,000 square feet. So let's look around, see what we can find. I'm going to put in a price filter. So let's say 2,500 square foot filter. So let's say 2,500 square feet is the maximum square footage that we're willing to look at here. And I can see that we have a house listed for $1.2 million. Interior is renovated. Looks like they flipped the property. Now, this kind of looks like a family house to me. The staging is a little bit of older style, which makes me think it's a family house. Then you've got a 695 right here, and you've got an 835. So it seems to me that a really nicely renovated property here might sell for around $1.2 million. Texas is a non-disclosure state, meaning that they don't actually show you what the houses are selling for. So you need a tool like PropStream. You've got a 1.125, 3-bed, 3-bath, and interior photos of this show us that the house is fully renovated. So let's adjust that. I'm thinking about $1 million to $1.1 million for ARV. Let's look at this one really quickly. Nice renovation. So yeah, this thing would sell for probably as a 4.4, like 1.1. It would sell for about 1.1. We need to understand what we need to put into the property in order to get it there. But if the property looks like this, we're essentially ripping everything out and redoing everything. And that will probably cost you about $100,000 in an area like Dallas, especially in an expensive area, maybe even more than $100,000. So a price to get this at, you know, let's say a buyer acquired this thing for $750. Let's say $850. They bought it for $850. They've got $15K closing costs. They put $100,000 into it. They're in it for $965. Maybe it sells for around 1.1. So I think for margin of error, a buyer might want to make 200 on this. So I think the price to send it to a buyer for is like $825, maybe $825,000, maybe $800,000. So anything you can get below $800,000 is probably profit for you here. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
We typically
go ahead.
We typically play in the cheaper price range. As I was telling the previous guy, the individuals that we sell to, they don't typically want to execute massive rehabs like this. Like they typically want to do cheaper rehabs. You know, in my experience, if we put in a sales price of $300,000 to $400,000, this is a pretty achievable price in the Dallas area. But if we put in a price filter like that, and then we click sold, and we find out where these houses are selling, well, as you can see, they don't want to tell us. We have to do for sale. When we find out where these houses are selling, it looks like there's a lot of them right here. So this is a much more attainable fix and flip area. The rehabs are not as steep, and anything I find in here, chances are, if it's distressed or needing a little bit of work, it's going to be a good fix and flip. So what I like to do is I like to find out where the houses are selling first in a lower price range so that we have more buyers for that. And then what I also like to do is I like to price these things low to high. So we'll do houses. We'll price these low to high. And now virtually any very cheap property here should be able to sell for significantly more. So I'm going to see if I can find one that has a little bit of character here. We've got some auctions. Here's a 2-bed, 1-bath. Looks like it could be revived. Looks like it definitely needs a restoration. I'm surprised that it's only 1,000 square feet, but look at this guy right here. Yeah, that's the type of thing we're looking at. So I like this one. I like this. This looks like a moderate rehab, 4 days on market. Investor special is the keyword that they've chosen to use here to represent the property. Now let's comp the property. So this is a much more attainable fix and flip. Not only is it in bad condition, whereas your house seems to be in good condition, but it's cheap. It's a cheap fix and flip. So you're not going to need to do as much work. The scale of rehab is significantly lower. 235, 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,300 square feet. Nice layout. Now, of course, Zillow is not going to tell us what it would sell for. So we can slightly get an idea of this by looking at the neighbors' houses. Yeah, look at this. Neighbor's house is a full rehab. Full rehab, full renovation. You know, it listed for $439,000. Also a smaller property. So that's nice to see. They're asking 235. We'll figure out where we need to be in just a sec. I'm going to throw it into PropStream. Hopefully get a little bit more information about this thing. We've got a couple more photos in here letting us know about the condition. Again, not a huge rehab. I like it. I like it. And it's important to note that realtors have to present every offer you make them. So if I were going after something like this and I look at some of the comps here, let's do comps nearby listings. I just don't think PropStream's showing us great numbers. You've got this guy for 356. You've got this guy for 341. But then when we look at the listings here, you can see that people seem to think that they're going to sell for much more than that. You've got that 439, then you've got that 412 right here. 412 appears to be loosely renovated. But you know what? As a 4.3, 2,300 square feet, let's just look at one of the higher comps. Because I don't like these 250s. I just don't believe those 250s. I feel like we can go for more than that. You've got a 332. You've got a 341. Looking at photos of the 341, I feel like these are old photos. House doesn't look that renovated. I'm going to say it could sell for 375. I don't have a lot of evidence for that because it's a non-disclosure state, but 375 is what I think it could sell for. How much work does it need to get to 375? Roof looks good, so that's a good sign. I feel like we don't need to do the roof. We need exterior work, full interior rehab. I'm going to say like 75, 80,000. I'm going to say $85,000. 80,000. We're going to go with 80,000. It's just a rough estimate, guys. But if we think about it, if a buyer bought this at 175, they put in 80,000, they've got 20,000 in closing costs, holding fees, whatever. They're in it for 275 here. The house looks like it's going to sell for about 350. So I think the number to get this for is about 150K. So I'm going to give them a call and I'll see if I can make that offer. So nobody can help with my questions. Well, you see, I am actively helping somebody else with their question. Should I stop working with him and start working with you, somebody who's not actually in the community? Let me know, champ. Thanks. Oh, right. We can't call right now. No. Oh, damn. I don't know what's going on with the servers today, or if it even is a server thing. I'm not sure, but yeah, man, I'll drop this one on your DMs. You can give them a call a little bit later whenever phones decide to start working again. But yeah, that's my fix and flip process. Finding a property that has renovated houses around it and then getting a significant discount on this, like dropping it from 235 to 150. Nice discount. Stack yourself a $10,000, $15,000 fee on it. Collect your check, you know?
Gotcha. So that's the best way to go for it when it comes to cash. Can you do creative with a lead like this as well? As an example?
You know, it's interesting you asked that. Most of the time we can provide a creative financing solution. But as I look at a property like this, I think to myself, is this a rental or a fix and flip? And we kind of already covered that. Fix and flip, right? Because it looks like this. You know, you couldn't even get residential financing on this. If you tried to get an FHA loan, they'd be like, hell no, bro. I'm not going to give you a loan on this. This thing needs way too much work for me to lend on it. So it has to go the fix and flip route. And when I think about it, even if we got the best of the best seller financing terms, what does that look like? $0 down, no money down, no interest rate, no monthly payments. Even if we got that type of deal, what do we have to do? Well, we still have to bring the rehab money to the table. We still need to renovate the property. So even at the most amazing deal ever, $0 down, 0% interest, no monthly payments, just unreal terms I've never even seen before. You know, we still have to bring the rehab money to the table. And the problem with that is I could get a loan right now that pays for purchase price and renovation, the whole shebang. It could pay for purchase price and renovation, which is awesome. So, you know, as a flipper myself, I don't want seller finance on a distressed property because I think, well, wait a second, I still have to come up with the rehab money when I could just get that funded by my lender. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the thought process. Now, what could I do creative financing on? Well, I like to find a multifamily that's been there for ages, just a multifamily that's been sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting. And I so wish we could call right now so I could demonstrate that process for you. But check this out. I like to go to an area like Dallas, and then let's leave Dallas. Let's go a little bit further out. Let's leave Dallas and let's find somewhere that's just sort of like sitting. Here's a house listed for $450,000. They're looking for a retail buyer for this. They want a house hacker. They want somebody who's going to live in one side and rent out the other side. It does look like it's currently tenant occupied. Thing is, though, it's not really going to cash flow, but it hasn't been here for that long. So let's find something that's been there for a while. I want them to realize that their deal is not a deal. I want them to realize. So 25 days on Zillow. Okay, 25 days, but how bad can we get? That's a new build. Don't call on those new builds. They have financing in place that prevents them from doing that. This guy right here, he's been chilling for 42 days, but it gets so much worse than that, really. This guy right here, he's been hanging out here for 90 days. Owner finance duplex, cash flowing flexibility in Dallas. Great. Rare opportunity to acquire a fully occupied duplex with seller financing available. No banks, no delays, investor-friendly terms and conditions. Great. I can't call them. Oh my God, I can't believe it. That sucks, guys. Look what I just found. I just found this thing, and they want to do owner financing. And what does the condition look like? It looks fine. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look bad. It looks fine. But this is the exact type of thing I'd call on. What would I say? Hey, I see you're looking for owner financing, and we'll go ahead and drop this in your DMs too. So you've got a fix and flip in your DMs right now. First one's fix and flip. Second one's going to be owner financing in the same market. And it's really cool that they're asking for owner financing, because I was looking for somebody who might need owner financing. I wasn't expecting to run into somebody who's asking for owner financing, which is great. They don't have a mortgage on the property. They've owned it for 10 years and 7 months. Now, what would I do in terms of an offer? Well, I play by this 10-10-40 rule. 10-10-40 rule. The 10-10-40 rule is 10% above their asking price. So what's 10% above this? Roughly 400K. Roughly. Doesn't really matter. $400,000 offer. What's the other 10%? 10% down. So 40K down. So 400K offer, 40K down, 10% above their asking price, 10% as a down payment. And then what's the 40%? Do you have a guess as to what the 40% might be? The chat can help them out.
The offer?
The monthly payments. Remember, the offer's 10% above their asking price, right? So the offer,
and then down payment.
and
So,
then
monthly.
10% down, and the only part left there is that monthly payment. So what is this thing going to rent out for? Well, I bet it goes for about $1,300 a side. So 40% of 2,600 would be our monthly payment. 2,600 times 0.4, probably around 1040. Interesting. Just about $1,000 per month. So yeah, I'd be like, hey, bro, I could go ahead and give you 400,000, 40K down, and $1,000 per month, and I could do that over a 6-year period of time. And on the 6th year, we'll refinance you out everything else that we still owe you. Refinancing is replacing one piece of debt with another piece of debt. The seller and them letting us make payments, that is a piece of debt, right? That's debt that the seller's letting us inquire, right? We're incurring debt from the seller. They're letting us make payments to them as if they were the bank. But this seller, party A, they don't want to hold the debt indefinitely. 30 years, that's super rare. Why would somebody want to wait 30 years for payments? That's kind of a long time. It is a long time. So what we say is, I'll make you payments for 6 years, and then I'll have the bank come in, they'll pay you off, and I'll pay the bank back over 30 years. We call that a refinance. So you don't just refinance to lower your interest rate. You refinance to replace debt A with debt B. And the thing is, this debt right here was only for 6 years, whereas this debt right here, 30 years of ability to pay that debt down because it comes from the bank. So we're looking for a seller to let us make payments for a short period of time, about 6 years, maybe even closer to 10 years. The longer, the better. Longer term lengths are way, way, way better. But if we can make them payments for a period of just 6 years, we can get ourselves a $15,000 finder's fee for something like this, because of how much easier it is for a real estate investor to buy property like this, if that makes sense.
So the 40% is towards the rent. That's 2,600, is it?
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Payment to the seller on a monthly basis.
Yeah. And I had a lot of people asking me about this, and I thought to myself, well, wait a second. I could just build you a calculator that does this for you. So if you click on calculators, am I sharing my screen, by the way?
You were, yeah, you still are, yeah.
Payback
Yeah, you're right.
40% over the 6-year balloon. No. The 40% has nothing to do with how much you pay back over the balloon.
You're sharing your screen. You're not sharing the other. Yeah,
I was reading the comments, but the 40%, that's 40% of the rent in monthly payments. You're not going to pay down 40% of your loan in 6 years normally. However, you could pay down 20 to 30% if you have that no interest rate that we get so frequently. Now, if you click on the seller finance calculator right here and you just put in the numbers, it'll spit out this offer for you. Check it out. So let's just throw in the numbers that they want. They want 370, right? What is the rent? I think it's 2,600. Kind of like what we get for a 100K duplex in Ohio. That's why areas like this don't really work for other investors. I actually made a video about how real estate no longer cash flows. It's kind of insane. Real estate, it barely cash flows in most places unless you use creative financing. Of course, you can still find it if you get a steep enough discount, as we were just talking to that other guy, Harrison, about. So taxes per month, that's going to come off of Zillow. My taxes are looking like $655 per month. And then you could look up insurance if you wanted to. You could say, you could ask AI, what might my insurance be for a duplex in this zip code? What might it be? I'm going to guess it's about $250 per month, maybe $225 per month. And then let's say I want to make $10,000, right? What kind of offer is it going to spit out for me? It says 407, 40K down, and 1040 in payments. So that's the 10% over list. $37,000 is 10%. So $407 purchase price. But does it have to be 407? No. The price is actually of little consequence. I know everybody thinks here the price is of it's greatly weighed, but the price is of little consequence. A property is not worth its price. It's worth the financing within that price, as we've seen so many times before. But the purchase price 407 could be 410, could be 405, could be 390, could be 425. It really doesn't matter, assuming you're not drastically above their asking price. The reason it doesn't matter is because you pay that down without interest in an offer like this. There's no interest in an offer like this. The interest is the offer itself. We've offered over asking price. That price serves as the interest rate. We can't add an additional rate to that, or else we're in big trouble. We're not going to pay it down fast enough for our balloon. So 407, 40K down, 1040 per month. You have free access to all of these resources. This is just one resource. You get free access to all of our resources on this website. It's like an easier to use Discord.
I'm gonna have to utilize that too for the finance. Yeah.
Here it is, www.hmhw.group. Just log in with your username and password that you used here, and you're good to go.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
Yeah, Wolf Caney, I'm happy to help you with that. Guys, I'm going to be live for 30 more minutes, and then I'm going to go talk to that other guy, and we've got OB3 next. But Vandross, is there anything I can help you out with, man?
Just a quick, advice for just a fresh guy that's joined the community. What's the one-on-one step, per se, to get that first assignment on the market?
There's so many different paths that you could go down, but I'll give you one piece of advice. I'll just give you one piece of advice. If you make 50 calls, as in 50 contacts, 50 conversations on ugly houses, offering them half of what they're looking for in a major city, you've got yourself a deal. So what do I mean by that? Virtually any ugly house you can find. I just picked Birmingham, Alabama. I would say minimum price point 60 or 70,000, because anything below that, it's just like a complete shit box, like this thing right here. I wouldn't want to offer on something like this. It's so far gone that nobody wants to buy it. Like, it doesn't even matter what sort of discount you get on something like this. It's not going to sell, right? So I don't offer on things that are listed usually below 60,000, just because they're so messed up. So what I like to do is I'll put a minimum price point of 60,000, and I'll find the most attractive, shitty looking house I can find, like this. This is a duplex. I know so little about this duplex. Looks like somebody is living inside. If you called this person up and offered 50K, it's a deal. None of it matters. Nothing else matters. It's a deal if you offered 50K. If you call this person up right here, you've got another duplex listed for 120. It's in better condition, but it's been here for 300 days. Hell, offer them 60K. Offer them half of their asking price. It's going to be a deal. Now you're going to get no after no after no after no after no doing this strategy. However, anything you do get using that strategy, it's going to be a deal. Now, as you continue to show up to these live streams, you're going to see people who get things that are much, much, much better than that. So, for example, this is one $10,000 deal that we have in closing. This thing right here, listed for 150, student offered 125. That's like the minimum discount you can get. 25K below list price, like the minimum discount you can get. Offering 125 on a house listed for 150, barely a discount, but we have some really strong buyers here. And as you continue to learn their criteria, you might be able to be a little bit more strategic in your offering numbers. So I would say find yourself an ugly house, like a truly ugly property, a house that looks like it's in really bad condition. I don't know what the condition of this one is, and offer them half to 60% of their asking price, and somebody will pick it up. That will work for somebody's buy box. Like this thing right here, it's listed for 198K. Hell, hit them with 100K. Hit them with 100K. They've been here for 100 days. Any offer is welcome. But what I will say is you're going to run into a lot of people saying no. So I always like to say, hey, my lender came in at 100K. Do you think that's worth presenting? Rather than I'm at 100K and they're like, well, why are you at 100K? Just say, hey, this is where my lender came in. Can you present this offer for me? And then I would also ask them to tell you a little bit about what's going on with it and why it's been sitting for so long.
That is perfect, because I have been calling off-market deals, so I'm used to the nose. It's more just the right numbers and strategies where I kind of give up, if that makes sense, when it comes to just numbers and getting up too high or just the deal not making sense.
You got to keep showing up to these classes, man. That's the only difference between you and somebody else who's been in here where it does make sense to them. They just show up to these over and over and over again. And what's going to happen after you step down off the stage, somebody's going to show me their deal. Somebody will show me their deal and I'll say good or bad. And then that will inform you as to whether or not your next deal is good or bad. So a lot of the education here is group style, in that somebody else asked me a question and my answer to that question applies to your situation, if that makes sense.
That's perfect, Richard. 50 contacts a day, is what you said. 50 contacts a day?
I think that if you had 50 contacts a day, that's what the other guy was doing. That's what the other guy is doing. But if you had 50 contacts per day, absolutely you're going to get yourself a deal. Absolutely you'll get yourself a deal. Although I will say that it is a lot. It is a lot. But if you send 50 offers a day, you should have a deal by the end of this month.
50 contacts, not offers, right?
You know what well, contacts are hopefully offers made. I would aim for 15 offers per day if you want to get a deal quickly. Like in the next month, if you shoot out 15 offers per day, you'll be able to, and let me show you how to make an offer. I'll just show you how to make an offer. I go into my email and I use one of my templates. So check out my screen share. If I click templates, cash offer plus seller finance template, check this out. I'll screenshot this.
Hello.
Hi. I'm going to screenshot this and I'll put it in the chat. For seller finance and hold my handle, so what's the maximum amount of the deal we should pursue? I would say, Nate, probably 2 million, maybe 3 in some cases. Yeah, that's right. Probably 2 million, around there. I don't typically see students really doing deals above 2 million, I guess, except for that guy Harris, which is pretty insane. Best type of purchase, duplexes, not duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, 6 unit, 7 unit, 8 unit, 12 unit, 25 unit, 17 unit, like what OB3 has. OB3, phones are down today in the United States. I don't know what's going on. Maybe some tower fell down, but I can't make any calls, unfortunately. So as far as calling your 17 unit guy, my phone won't even ring. I've tried to call like 5 people, won't even ring. I'm so sorry. Say that again.
Do you have Tulio? Because I've been using Tulio to make calls.
It's just today that they're down. I typically use a service called SalesMate, but I think it'll be back up in an hour or two. This doesn't usually last long in the United States. I haven't even seen this before, actually. Yeah. Anyways, keep watching, keep showing up. There are people on here who will ask questions that will apply to you, and they'll show me deals that will help inform you as to what makes a deal a deal.
I appreciate it so much. This has been very valuable for the minute that you've given me. And yeah, I'll stay plugged in.
Great, man.
Thank you.
We'll be live for another 30 minutes or 45 minutes or so, and then I'm going to go figure out how we can connect more with that guy. And when I say connect more with that guy, I'm not talking about me, guys. I'm talking about how can I create a buy box for his buyers that you guys can attack, and how can I not lead you on by letting you think, hey, this is a really good opportunity. You lock things up, and then it just doesn't work. So I'm going to see if we can create some systems so that people can submit to him. I'm going to see if his buy box is real. I'm going to ask to see some HUD statements so that I know that we're not just blowing smoke here. And if all of that checks out, hopefully in a week or so, we can have a buy box and you guys can start hunting for whoever the hell Harris is selling to, because I don't know who those people are. But anyways, Van Ross will talk soon. Jesimar living the life, still off of his wholesale money. I love to see it. And then we'll talk to OB3. We were going to talk to you about the 17 unit. Phones are down today, so if it's like, hey, can you call and give an update? Unfortunately I can't today.
Yeah, can you bring me tomorrow, please, so we can do that?
Yes, absolutely. We'll talk. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Let's talk to Robes. Robes says, just a quick beginner question. Robes, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. We've been talking to some cool people today.
I heard. I'm currently at work, and I got the end of Harris's call, which was pretty cool to hear. I have been watching your streams for about a month on Discord.
Love it.
I have been doing the work, I've been doing the work for almost 2 months now. I just have a quick question about mortgage takeovers. I know everything's situational, but is there like a somewhat of a formula? I know seller finance is the 10-10-40.
Sure.
Cash deals are 65 to 70%, but mortgage takeovers, I just had my first ever good call about it, which is exciting. But I just don't know what the numbers could be.
Yeah, so let's look at a couple deals, and you're right. It is very, very situational. It really is. It really comes down to each and every property and their mortgage payment, and it's so here's what I'll say. If the deal cash flows 10% down, in order for the deal to cash flow, it's either a cheap property or a multifamily. So I'll say it one more time. If the deal cash flows 10% down, if it is cash flowing, it's probably pretty cheap. So I pulled up a market, Davenport, Iowa. Davenport, Iowa. Why am I pulling up Davenport? Well, it's such a cheap market that the deals are going to cash flow. So I'm going to put in a maximum listing amount of about 140,000 because I just, things don't really cash flow above that. And really they should be less than that. And then I'm going to put in an equity filter. I'm going to go ahead and put in a, let's do a 30% equity filter here. And then let's see what that pulls up. So I'm on a service called PropStream right now. And the goal is to find something that cash flows. So as I look at something like this, I already know that it's probably not going to cash flow. I see 165K on their loan balance. And I think to myself, yeah, they want me to take over their debt. Why? Well, they owe 104, or they're asking 140. They're asking 140. They owe 165. This is not a pretty situation for them at all. But I instantly know without any underwriting or analysis that it's not going to work. And I could be wrong about that, but 90% of the time I'm right. Let's find out. So I bet it rents out for $1,400. $1,600. Okay. Rents out for $1,600 per month. Love to see it. And that mortgage payment here, well, this is without taxes and insurance. Without including taxes and insurance, it's $1,138. What might you imagine it is with taxes and insurance? $1,500. So does it cash flow? Nah, because rentals have expenses, right? So I don't even have to click on something like this. The reason I can just skip something like this because, well, I know it's not going to cash flow. However, as we start to get into the lower price points, this is a 2-bed, 1-bath. And what's my immediate opinion? 2-bed, 1-bath, lower rent, lower desirability, potential for cash flow because of the area. I don't feel great about it, but I'll check it out really quickly here. Now, this is the math and the mental process we have to know what our down payment is. I immediately know it's not a fit. Instantaneously not a fit. You see the drop off from 3.1 to 2.1 in the same area? Massive drop off from 3.1 to 2.1. 2.1s are not that desirable. And when we check that mortgage payment, well, this is without taxes and insurance. That's $800. $800, no taxes and insurance, $1,000 with taxes and insurance. So I'm going to start moving a little quicker now. But so what's my down payment on this deal? No down payment, it's not a deal. You'd have to get it for $0 down to make that a deal. What's my down payment on this deal? No down payment, not a deal. No down payment, not a deal. No down. Well, this could be a deal. They owe 58K, so their loan balance. Well, this could be a deal. This right here could be a deal. They're asking 100 and they owe 58. You could probably give this person 12K down to take over their debt. Now that's price dropping them from 100 to 70. So that is a pretty steep drop, but it would cash flow. So this would cash flow. You can see that mortgage right here, 381 per month. So you could probably give this guy maybe up to 15K, maybe 15. Yeah, I'm going to say 15K because of the equity. You give this guy $15,000 to take over his debt on the property. Now, what's the analysis behind the $15,000? How am I getting there? Well, this property, as we saw, probably $1,400 in rent. Let's check it. $1,400 to $1,600 in rent. Hopefully, it's still in a good area. So as we look this up, unfortunately, $1,256 in rent, which is pretty consistent with properties like this. We got lucky with that $1,600 one. You can see that this is probably not as good of an area. However, they only pay $381 per month. Their taxes are probably $200. They pay $581 per month on that mortgage. The rent on this thing is $1,250. So I could probably give them $15K to take over the debt, which is above my 10% rule, but 10% works really well. So I feel really good at 10%, but why could I stack another 5K on that? And this is why it's so situational and hard for me to give you a greater rule than if it cash flows 10% down. Well, I could probably stack another 5 for 2 reasons. The first reason is the equity. What I mean by that is the house, I mean, it's probably worth closer to 80, 90K, and they only owe 58K. So the buyer's walking in with a little bit of equity in the deal. They really like that. That's nice. That's a factor for them. And then the other part is the cash flow justifies it. You know, you're making like $400 a month. Your down payment is probably $25,000. You know, 400 times 12 is $4,800. That's let's find out, $25,000. That's for a 5K fee. That's a 20% cash on cash return. So if I stack 5K and there's 5K closing costs, 20% cash on cash. So my equity justifies it. My cash flow justifies it, right? So it's hard for me to give you an exact rule of thumb for doing down payments on these deals. You're just going to want to prioritize cash flow and loosely 10% down. But if there's some bonuses to that deal, you could do a little bit more than 10% down, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. I just have one final question. When it comes to like that example, the previous one, you said 15K to take over the debt. Would that include the agent's commission, or is that separate?
When I offer money to take over the debt, usually I piece it out. I say I'll give X amount to the seller and X amount to the agent, because the agent will pitch that figure to the seller and assume that their commission is going to come from some genie somewhere. So I usually like to separate it. I say, you know what? I'll give 10K to your seller and I'll pay 5K towards your commission, just in case they're expecting more than 5K.
Okay. But when you say 10%, that's not part of that 10% for the very loose formula that we just spoke about.
So if I wanted to give this guy 10% down, I'm not really thinking about difference between 10% and agent commission. I'm thinking about 10% as a whole. So if I say 10% down, that would, on this one, that would mean 12,200 down. But if I were speaking to the agent about 10% down, I might say, you know what, I'll throw your seller $7,500. I'll throw you 5K to take over the debt on the property. So I do like to separate it, because the agent they really only care about their commission, if I'm being honest.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thanks so much for joining here. Try to recommend to other people who are asking questions in the chat, join these live streams, because as you can see, out of 7,100 members, 200 people show up. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and speak to the next person here, Wolf Caney, and then we'll talk about some other really groundbreaking strategies that Jason's going to talk to us about. And then you'll have more live stream after this, guys. I've been live for about 2 hours right now. I'm going to end this live stream in about 10 minutes to see if I can work on that connection for everybody here with Harris. But after I'm done, we might have another person go live to answer questions and provide more groundbreaking information. For example, I'm always talking about this, but the guy on our stage right now, Jason, it's really a miracle that he's spending his time with us here, because Jason could go live on an island somewhere and retire. Probably not the best timing to say he could live on an island somewhere, but disregard. He could have a really good time and he doesn't need to be here. And the reason he could have a really good time and he doesn't need to be here is his mobile home parks alone cash flow him $200,000 a month. Just that investment. And he has got his hand in so many more things, yet he's choosing to spend his time here sharing his information with you. So, don't think that I'm the only expert here, because when it comes to cash flow and real estate, shit, Jason blows me out of the park. So, you just got to sit through the live streams and these people will drop amazing gems for you. Anyways, let's talk to Wolf Caney. Wolf Caney, what's going on?
Hey, Richard, how are you doing, man?
Excellent today. How may I help you?
Hey, so I've got this 20-unit property in Silverdale, Washington, that I've been looking at, and I've been talking with the realtors back and forth for a little bit now, and looking at it, it fits pretty well for the seller financing criteria, right? It doesn't cash flow. If you were to go through and you were actually to get a mortgage through the bank or anything like that, it doesn't. And they went as far as to like print out or send me a pamphlet basically of information for loan amount, down payment, amortization, interest rates, stuff like that. And using all of the numbers that they sent me, it still doesn't cash flow. They've been on market for 321 days. And now I'm going to throw a curveball at you because I know you were just asked this question for pricing on units. This is a $5.25 million unit. And they, like I said, they've been on market for almost a year now. They're saying that the seller she wants to sell, but she's not in any rush to sell. They said that she's gotten some seller financing ideas before. So after doing a bunch of digging, I looked up on PropStream finally the property and everything, and after doing all of the information on like Offer Oven, right? I've got it to a good area where, because the rent there, I guess they don't have it at what it could sit at the market level. They've got it below market for rent. And doing a 6-year balloon on this with a potential appreciation of 4.5, it could definitely work, is what I'm trying to say. Long story short, it could definitely work. The problem is on PropStream, it's saying that her estimated loan payment is about $18,800, so around maybe $19,000, and that is what kind of bites the seller financing in the foot, because looking at that takes cash on cash to like 7.9%. Do you think that's something to still potentially explore? I can give you the address if you want to take a look at it. I don't have it under contract or anything like that, so I don't know if you would want to look at it or not.
Absolutely. Here to help. Yeah. So it's important to understand PropStream is not 100% accurate. So we always need to confirm those payments with the seller. Do you want to go ahead and DM me the address so I can pull this up?
Yeah, totally.
Guys, my arm is so sore from yesterday. I can like barely extend it all the way. You get that like crazy pain right in the center. I've just recently learned that this is not optimal. I thought to myself a year ago, this is great. I destroyed the muscle so much that it's just going to grow so well now, but that's overtraining. Actually, I just did too much. That's actually not what I was supposed to do. But yeah, DM me that and we'll pull it up.
Yeah, I just sent it.
Okay. Silverdale.
I will say, I've been here for probably, I think, about 3 weeks, and I've just kind of started to get a hold of things. And so this is kind of where my first interaction, like first good interaction with real estate agents have kind of gone through. And so I didn't know if sending this to you would really be worth it.
Well, I'm always happy to look, man. It's always a learning moment. So I'm always happy to take a peek at your deals. As I pull up this property here, my first question is, where is Silverdale, Washington? I've never heard of it, but it's in the Seattle metro. So that's totally fine. Yeah. Okay. So
It's next to, it's probably like 15-20 minutes away from the largest naval base on the West Coast. So they say in their pamphlet that the vacancy is about a 5% vacancy. So
Is it-
it doesn't stay open very long.
is it this one here?
Yeah, so that's one of them. What I'm thinking is going on with this is that because it's all four of those nearby areas. So looking at like if you look at the linked properties, there's her house, the seller's house in Edmonds, but then there's the four other buildings. It's 2 quadplexes and then or 3 quadplexes and a multifamily.
Well, we can simplify this. You know, I know it seems really complicated, but we can simplify this. Hey there, Mr. Seller. I'm interested in this deal. I take over mortgages. I usually leave the current financing in place and then pay you out the difference. What does that financing cost? Okay, $15K per month. And then what are you guys bringing in with all the buildings added together? Oh, cool, $25K per month. Awesome. Thanks. Call you back soon. That's all you need to do. So regardless of how many details they've shared with us, because I get how overwhelming it can be, there's 2 main things that matter. What does your loan cost and what do you bring in? It's the same if it were a single family property, you know?
Okay, yeah, because I've got the monthly rent, and I even have if after purchase and everything rent was increased, I have the number for that too. So it's just I don't know if I'm overcomplicating things or not, because I don't know. I feel like jumping into a $5.25 million property was probably a little much for being so early on into this, but I figured bite off more than I can chew and figure out how to chew it. And it makes those simpler properties a little bit easier.
Yeah. I honestly think that starting with something like this throws you into the fire, and that's good. You learn quick. You learn really quickly. And I'm never going to tell you not to do that, because you're going to learn like Sue learned, and it's going to be great. It's going to be really awesome. As to whether or not it's going to go through, I can't really speak to that. But at the end of the day, when you call a really big building like this, they have so many things to share with you, the zoning and the rehab and the pro forma and the expenses, which are all important things. But we don't want to get analysis paralysis here. So let's just ask a very basic question to start with. What does the property cost per month? What does the property bring in per month? Then we can figure out everything else from there.
Yeah, which is what I'm kind of struggling on, is their expense report is relatively different than like the numbers that you have like kind of taught us to go off of. So but like I said, even using their numbers, it doesn't make sense if this was to be financed through a bank or anything like that, because they said for starters that the percent down for this area has to be about 35%. And because that's the most that somebody's willing to finance is up to that like 65% threshold. They're not willing to finance an 80% threshold.
And that's okay. We're doing creative financing. So disregard what is financeable. At the end of the day, I don't care about their expenses yet. Eventually I will, but I don't care about them yet. Hey there, Mr. Seller. How many units are there? 27. Cool. What is your occupancy? Okay, 22 out of 27. What is your rent for the 22? Okay, awesome. 19,000. Great. Thank you so much. Talk soon. Bye. That's it. What are you bringing in? What does that loan cost? I get it. So many more expenses. Oh my God. What are we going to do? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So first things first, how many units are occupied? Whatever it is, whatever the use of the building is. What is the property cost per month? That's it. And then from there, we can figure out everything else by looking at their expenses.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. They said that they are, I did ask, they said they're full occupancy right now. And currently they've got 16 2-bedrooms that are renting for
disregard. All I would need from you, that total expense monthly, you have to go and ask, and what it brings in. So it's not, well, the 3-bedroom goes for this and the 3-bed. What does it cost per month? What does it bring in? Just simple it down to that. Just boil it down to that. It's that simple.
Okay, and that would be their NOI, correct?
No, their NOI is all of their expenses added together. And honestly, I'll look into that later. I just want to know the basics. What does it bring in per month? What does it cost? So not, well, the Ford unit, the woman's older and shut up. I don't care. What does your mortgage cost? What do you bring in? I'll check out your pro forma after. Right? So disregard literally everything else. Tunnel vision on those two questions, okay? I got to move on, all right?
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Talk soon. We had an A username. You were going to show me we need another bathroom break, guys. This is my second bottle that I've drank on here today. I'll be right back. 1 second. Give me 45 seconds. Any wholesalers in New Jersey? We only got 34 people on the Instagram stream. I would imagine there's not somebody there, but there's 210 in my Discord stream and 7,000 other members. So I'm sure you can find people to network with there. Anyways, be right back. The link's in my bio for the guy asking. Okay. All right. We're going to keep going. So, guy with the Detroit property. How we doing?
Hey, Rich, how's it going, man?
I am
so I just
doing well.
Two flips to your DMs. I sent the numbers over. There should be 2 of them that can do.
All right. Guys, I'm going to head out in
I've
about
got
15
verbal
minutes, but we're going to check these out really quickly. So let me pull them up.
Yeah, I got verbal confirmation on both, but I was transparent with both of them because they were asking about why the EMB had to be submitted after the inspection. So I was transparent and told them how the operation worked. And I told them that I would see, what I do is use 1 to 3 days to see if I can meet with my partner and investors and see if somebody can pick it up. And then and only then I would sign.
Good.
And I know you're looking for flips. So
yeah. So first property needs a new roof, some exterior work, maybe a little bit of gutter work here. Interior looks to be almost fully renovated. Apart from that, just needs a little bit of touching up here. Okay, so is this kind of just like a fix and flip that's not fully finished yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so verbal confirmation on that. And then do you have a good ARV in this area?
No, is that the first one? That one I couldn't find any good comps, but the closest one was 260 ARV, but I think the zip code is different.
Yeah, it looks like you have an interesting. So this is Theodore. Yeah. Gosh, they make it so hard to find active listings. Oh man. You look it up and then it disappears. You look it up and it disappears. So Theodore, property type, single family houses, and then I have to reset every other filter here to find it. Theodore. Okay. I found Theodore, 120,000. And I think it's okay to cross this line here. I see that there's a line very close to the property that represents a different zip code. But can I share my screen on this? Hello?
Oh, no, it's not under contract yet. I was just waiting to show you before I sign.
Okay. So 2,400 square feet, $120,000. Looking at sold properties in the area. Neighbor's house is like so check this out. I am going to share my screen, but not on the property. I'm going to share my screen on the area. I don't have any filters in place. This is the area. No filters. There's no filters. I'm not cutting out anything. Look at this. I'll just go down the line. 13, 30, 17K, 27K, 5K, package deal for a large piece of land. Not really what we are. 30K, 60K, 34K, 18K, 8K, 15, 4K, 1K, 29K, 51K, 14K, 6K, 19K, 30K. I mean, is this an area that we want to renovate in? No, nobody wants to touch this area. You know, we don't even want to go to this area. I wonder what the crime looks like here. Check this out. So I would say that this is like a high crime, high shooting, super, super low income, impoverished area. This is not what we want to see when we're flipping a house. You know, if I'm flipping a house, man, I want to see, oh, great, fully renovated property sold right next door. So let's say I'm over here, right? And let's say I'm looking at this 99K listing right here on this multifamily, right? What I want to see is other multifamilies that look just like this, but in good condition, because we can see that this one's in shitty condition, right? So this looks like a shitty condition multifamily. What I'm hoping to see is I want to see that the neighbors have sold for significantly more. And as I zoom into this area, well, great, I can see a lot of evidence for that. This is another multifamily, but it's 230. This is another multifamily, looks just like us, sold for 300K. Doesn't that look just like the property that we just looked at? So let's take another peek. Here's this property, brick. Look at the top, bottom, roof, windows, everything. Look at the style. And then look at this, 300,000. This is an opportunity. So we call and we say, hey, I want to offer you 60K. And then we send it to our buyers at 75 and we make $15,000. But now, first glance, 391 days. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. So offer them like 30K, 40K, understanding that this has been rejected for over a year by the market. And we need to get a substantial discount to get this thing sold. So when I look at your deal, I'm like, that's the hood, man. And we don't want to flip in the hood.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I see what you're saying about the area, 13K, the low, everything that's been sold is low.
Yeah, we're looking for evidence. At the end of the day, evidence. So thank you for bringing it to me and showing it to me, but that's not one that I would do anything on. You can creative finance it, but it needs work, so probably not. Now I'm going to look at your next one on Washburn Street. It's in a decent zip. I wouldn't say it's a good zip code. It's a decent zip code. Now I'm going to pull it up. And once again, I'm simply looking for evidence. So this thing is a... Zillow is so stupid. I hate Zillow so much. Oh my gosh. Not only does it not show you where it is, this time it's pulling the thing where it shows the rental listing and doesn't even tell me what the house is. Okay, 48204 duplex 98,000. So let's see if we can find this. All right. So we're going to filter for just multifamily, and then we're going to look for that 98. There's the 98. The realtor thought that above all else, their first picture should be not of the house, but of a random road somewhere. I don't know why they did that. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw around the area and just look for evidence of money-making potential. That's all people are looking for, evidence that they can make money on it, because you're risking money to make money. And if you're going to risk that money, there better be evidence to risk the money. So what are we? We're a 4-bed, 1-bath duplex. So it looks like the tenants share a bathroom. Oh, no, that's not right. It's really that the realtor's so slow that they didn't know to put a 4-bed, 2-bath as a duplex. So the tenants don't share. God, I just wonder what runs through people's heads. Look at this, guys. So keep in mind, the house pictured here, this is not the house. That's not the house. That's just a road with some house on it somewhere. What are realtors thinking? What in your head was like, you know what? What if we don't show the house, but just like a street somewhere? What do you think? Could that help? And I'm just like, oh God, you're so slow. And then beyond that, they listed as a multifamily, but instead of putting 2 bathrooms, which there most certainly is, they put 1. Oh, what are y'all doing? I can't believe people are going to pay you money for this service. It's just so slow. We see it every single day. Okay, 4-bed, 2-bath duplex, we'll assume. Looking in the area. I see a multifamily that sold for 160,000. That's good. I see one for 119. I see one for 150. Okay. So there's sufficient evidence here. I would venture to say that if somebody renovated this property, it would probably sell for somewhere between 150 and maybe like 130 to 160, anywhere in that range. It depends. We don't have a whole lot of information about this. The house probably needs like a $50,000 renovation. It looks like it's in pretty rough condition with a number of different complex issues going on. So probably about 50K needed on the rehab. If the house is going to sell for 150 maximum, you kind of know where we need to be, right? I mean, let's do the math. Let's do the math. Guys, let's run the numbers at their asking price.
60 on it.
So $60,000, you throw in 50K, you pay 5K for your fee, $10,000 closing costs, $3,000 holding costs. You're in it for 128. Wait a second, some of these comps sold for 128. Does that make sense? So it's the numbers. The numbers are as simple as 1 + 1 = 2, guys. They really are. The numbers have always been very, very simple. So, let's break down the numbers again. Let's say you buy at 50K. Well, what does it cost to buy a house? Well, you get about 10K in closing costs, and then there'll be interest payments while your loan is out. Those will be about 3K. So you're in it for 63. But wait a second, how do you make money? Oh, well, you get a 5K fee too. So you buy a 50K house, you're in it for 68K off the bat. You understand? We put in another 50K rehab. Hell, let's say it's 40K. Let's say it's not 50K. We put in 40K rehab. Now you're in it for 108. The evidence suggests that the property will sell between 130 and 150. I don't feel great about being in it for 108. Let's look at the most recent house that I purchased. The most recent house that I purchased, 16176 Tracy. Let's run numbers on this thing. So what makes something make sense? Well, first of all, what makes something make sense is evidence. So it's not just the house that makes something make sense. It's evidence. Now the house is around here, I think. I think Tracy's right around here. Is one of these Tracy, Littlefield, Tracy? Yeah. So the house is right around here. I'm going to remove all of my filters. And first, let's just see what's listed in this area. I bought the house for 70K. Is that below or above what you see a lot of these houses listed for? Well, shit. That's below. Not very many things for sale at 70K, right? Yeah. Okay. Now let's draw around the general vicinity. So maybe all the way up to here, maybe to here, maybe down to here, maybe down to here. So we're probably about 0.25 miles in either direction. Property's roughly somewhere around here. Now what are the dimensions of this property? Well, we have to check PropStream. So let's look at PropStream. So it's all about these numbers. And we already know the answer to, honestly, whether or not something's a deal, because I could just put it in number terms. And if it's in number terms, everybody knows the answer. So let's check this out. This is the house, right? My rehab here is about 58K. 58K to make this thing beautiful, to make it stunning. What are some interesting things about this? Well, look at this. What do you think this is? You have any guesses?
The attic?
That's the attic. That's right. And it looks pretty big, doesn't it? So you know what I thought? I thought to myself, this is another bedroom and another bathroom. 100%. We put a bedroom and a bathroom here. So it says it's a 3-2. No. It's a 4-3. How much square footage does this add? 450. That's going to put us at about 1,800 square feet. So when this is done, we're going to be a 4-bed, 3-bath, 1,800 square feet. That's great. 4-bed, 3-bath, 1,800 square feet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click sold, and I'm hoping and praying that there's other properties that are selling for more. Because then if there's not, I didn't do a good job. So we can only look in the past 12 months, right? And then as far as price filter, I don't care. Beds and baths, I don't care. Property type, we're just looking at houses at this time. And then I will price high to low. Now it can only be things that are within my square footage range. So is this within my square footage range? It's close. It's close. It's a little bigger. It's probably about 400 square feet bigger. So I think it's kind of close. I think it's kind of close. I don't think we can use that definitively. What we could look at though is, did this thing get flipped? Are other people flipping here? So I think that thing is close. I think it's close. Let's see. Did it get flipped? Oh yeah. I mean, you can literally see the sticker on the oven still. This thing is brand new. Not a very tasteful flip. They just kind of put new things in here, right? Didn't really put a lot of thought into the design, But what did they get for that? You got 230 for that. So that's pretty good. You got another one here, another $230,000 sale. They finished their basement and they finished their attic. So they're saying that it has that much square feet. It doesn't have that much square feet, but we'll just say it does. Here's something though. Brick house, right? 205,000, 5 beds, 2 baths, less square footage. Did they flip it? Let's find out. This looks like a comp to me. If I open this thing up, oh, yep, they flipped it. Did they do a good job? I mean, it's white. Everything's white. If you're a big fan of white, yeah, I guess they did a good job. Would I ever renovate a house like this? Absolutely the hell not. Absolutely not. This is the most boring thing I've ever seen. I'm doing a much more thought out renovation, but this is what they did. And the house looks good. It looks like kind of good. They didn't finish the basement. So this is a comp. This is exactly what I am. And we're going to grab his price per square foot because we don't have the same square footage. So we can't say, do you think it's fair to say that we'll sell for 205? Well, no. We're different than this property. We're different. So we have to take the price per square foot, 125. Let's grab another price per square foot on this property. So let's find another one that's similar. This is similar and this is similar. Do we really think this has 980 square feet? No, I don't think so. But even if I think it's bigger than that, but it's definitely not bigger than our house. They got 200K. Let's use this one instead. I think this is a little bit better. This is a $92 per square foot house. Maybe we can get slightly closer to my actual square footage like this guy. This guy's closer to my actual square footage. So I'm going to take his $106 per square foot, 106 per square foot. That's good. And then let's grab, because it's skewed a little bit when they have so much more square footage than us, about 300 more square foot, 400 almost. And then we take their price per square foot. So we should take people really close to our square footage. So that's close to our square footage. Let's see. Do we have another guy who's really close to that? That's pretty close too. I like that. That's pretty close. I might grab that, but this is a little bit too small. Yeah, I'll probably use this guy right here. This guy right here got a nice little $86. Now I'm gonna cherry pick. We're not gonna do that. $86. Hell no. We're gonna use this one. 94. Still not great, but we'll take it. So we're going to take the price per square foot of 3 renovated comps. We didn't check the last one. We didn't check to see if they renovated this. We were supposed to see if they renovated, although that looks like new windows and new wrapping to me. So let's check really quickly. Did they renovate? Yeah, that's all new stuff, right? So, very easy to find fix and flips here. So am I seeing any 18K sales, any 10K, 3K, 4K sales like yours were? No, not at all. Nothing like that. So this thing sold for a price per square foot of $94. Now, I'm going to be the best product on the table. Why? Well, quite frankly, none of these houses look like mine. I'll show you what mine looks like. So look at this house. It's ugly as all sin. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Whereas when you look at my property, even in terrible condition, check out what it looks like. Nothing, and I mean nothing, even scratched the surface of this curb set appeal. Not even close. Like full 360 from what they looked like. So we're using their price per square foot based on their renovations, but not only will my renovation be 10 times better than this, but the house is just well above it. So using their price per square foot, let's average that. Let's go ahead and divide that by 3. We're looking at $108 per square foot. And then if we multiply that by my square footage, well, right now it's 1270, but we're going to be adding about 450. So about 1720 square feet. We'll multiply this by 1720. And this is my projected ARV. Now, will it really sell for this? Oh, no. It'll go into a bidding war and sell for over $200,000. Why do we know that? Well, look at this. This guy right here is claiming 980 square feet for 200K. So really, I should list this thing for 189,000 and expect to sell over 200. Now, how much am I in the deal for? 70,000, 10,000 closing costs, 3,000 holding costs, and I asked the lender for about $55,000. So I'm in it for about 138,000. So if this thing sells, for around 200 grand, I should be walking away with like 50K after realtor fees. And that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. It's a light rehab. I didn't have to do too much work. As you can see, the property's not destroyed. You know, it's almost in livable condition, but it's a great money-making opportunity, you know?
Was the rent good on that one? Like if it didn't sell? What was the rent on that one?
I think that when it's renovated, it'll go for $1,700. But I don't think it's great to have a rental like that, because if I I mean, it's fine. If I refinance 138 out of the property, I pay probably about 1,300 per month and I rent for 17. So it's fine. It would cover it, but that's really not something I'm thinking about too much. That would be a last resort type of deal. Anyways, I've got to move on to this next person here, because I'm going to be late for this meeting that I have with this guy.
Or what if the 1 second, Rich? Well, just one question. What if the comps don't look like it, but they're in the same area? Is that an issue?
If it's
If it don't look like your subject property.
none of those comps quite looked like my subject property, I pay more attention to the year built. But you don't want to do a 1-story with a 2-story. So I'm not comping 1 stories with 2 stories. I'm comping 2 stories with other 2 stories, 1 stories with other 1 stories, but they don't have to look identical.
Okay, got it. All right, I'll see what I can find, Rich, and let the realtors know for these.
Okay, talk soon.
All right, thanks, Rich. Talk.
Jason, I may have to talk to you on tomorrow's stream so I can meet with this guy here. I'm running a little bit over time here, and we'll talk to this guy here. What's going on? Username W.
Hello, Richard. Hello, Richard. My name is Abdul. The thing is that I think I have a flip for you in Detroit, in Michigan. Address is 9534 Littlefield Street, Detroit, Michigan 48227.
9534 Littlefield. Did I get that right?
Yes, street.
Okay.
Yeah. They wanted 90 for that. I got it for 50,000. And then rehab is about 30 to 35,000. And then the ARV we are getting about for the ARV it is a little bit tricky, but we are getting 150 to maybe 160 for that.
ARV is entirely based on cash return for properties like this. When I sell these properties, my buyers are simply thinking, what does it rent out for? What is my mortgage going to cost me? So what does this rent out for? Well, it's pretty easy to find out. It's a 3-2 duplex, meaning that each side is going to be a 2-bed, 1-bath and a 1-bed, 1-bath. 1-bed, 1-bath in Detroit will rent for about $750. 2-bed, 1-bath should go for about $1,100. So $1,100 plus $750. $1,100 plus $750. It'll bring in $1,850. How much will a buyer pay for a property that rents for about $1,850? Let's test $130K. So if I test $130K, 7% interest, that's their monthly payment. Let's add $400 taxes and insurance, $864 plus $400, $1,246 is going to be the monthly payment of the buyer. This is what they care about in a duplex. On a single family, it's all about what the neighbors sold for and whether or not the house looks good. On a multifamily, it's an investment, so it's simply numbers. You may get a buyer who makes a bad decision and buys it at a stupid price that they shouldn't have bought at, but for the most part, this is just numbers. So when I look at a multifamily like this, I think this is what they'll pay if they buy it for 130, and the property rents out for just about 1,850. So I'm going to take my 20% off the top of 1,850, 1,480. I'm going to subtract my monthly payment of $1,246. And this is how much they'd make per month, $200. And then per year, they'd be making $2,800. And if we divide that by the total cost of buying, $26,000. Actually, I'm sorry, I forgot to put in our down payment. That's a little bit skewed. It's actually better than this. Hold on. Let me go back a little bit. We are going to take our rent, 20% off the rent, subtract the real monthly, because I forgot to put in the down payment. That lowers it. So $692. Taxes going up, probably about $300. Insurance, probably about $150. So you're looking at $242 per month. Multiply that by 12, making about $2,900 per year, a little bit more than we thought. And then divide that by the total cost of buying. Total cost of buying this thing is going to be 26 plus 10K closing cost, 36,000. So we're kind of asking a buyer to trade 36 racks for 2,900 a month, which gives them an 8% return on investment.
Yeah, Richard. The thing is that I got it for 50,000.
Right, and I'm looking at what my buyer is going to pay after I renovate it.
Oh, okay.
So I get that you got it for that price, but remember, I'm renovating it, and who am I selling it to? So it's kind of a chain. We have to look at it's like a tree. You know, we're up here. You're the wholesaler, and then you're selling it to a buyer, right? Is this a buyer who lives in it? Is this a buyer who rents it? Is this a buyer who flips it? It's a buyer who flips it. But when the buyer flips it, are they selling to a buyer that lives in it or a buyer that's going to rent the property? Because there's really only two outcomes. So I'm seeing this whole tree in my mind. I see that you have the wholesaler at the top. The wholesaler has contracted a property, but I'm not thinking about my renovation yet. I'm first and foremost thinking about where is the buyer going to buy. And if the buyer buys this particular property, which could generate about $1,800, $1,900 a month if it's fully occupied, for 130, it's an 8% cash on cash return, which means that this property is probably going to rent for, or is probably going to sell for about 110 to hit the cash flow that we need it to hit. And if you get it for 50, as far as the rehab being 30, this roof is cooked. Do you see the roof? It's caving in. So new roof on this is about $10,000. We're also doing shingle repair, fascia repair, and then we're doing new windows as well. So let's run through the rehab here. $10,000 for the roof. We're probably putting in about $4,000 to fix the, we'll say $5K for shingles and wood. And then we're probably putting in about $7,000 for the windows. So just on the outside, $22,000. That assumes that there's nothing else going on the outside, like junk removal, a really shitty garage that we have to get rid of. Now we go into the inside. Inside is easily another 35K. So I'm dropping about 57 on the rehab to get this thing in good condition. And when I buy it for 55 off you, giving you a fee, I'm instantly in the deal for $65,000 with closing costs, right? 55, that's your plus 5K for your fee, 10K for closing costs, in it for 65,000. In it for about 68,000 with the holding costs while I hold that loan, right? Now my buyer is going to look at this and say, well, if I buy it for 110,000, does this give me a good return on investment? And if we look at this, buying at 110,000 results in 585 in monthly payments, 585 plus taxes of probably, we're going to say taxes are 300 and we're going to say insurance maybe like 140 or so. So they pay about 1025 per month. Now they rent for $1,850 and 20% comes off the top. They're bringing in $1,480 and we're going to subtract that $1,025. So this is assuming they buy at 110K. They'd be making $455 per month, and per year, they'd be making about $5,000. The total cost of buying this thing is going to be 22 plus 10K for closing costs, 32,000. So even at 110,000, we're still not at a 20% cash on cash return. So when my buyer looks at this deal, I'm not thinking about my buyer, my renovation. I'm thinking about who I'm selling it to. Am I selling this to somebody who wants to live in the property? Probably not. It's an investment property. I'm selling it to somebody who wants to, I'm just now noticing the stairs. We have to address that too. We have to rebuild the deck. But I'm selling it to somebody who wants to invest in the property. If they buy this thing at 110, 17% return. We're probably needing a buyer at about 102, 103K. So before I leave, the last thing I'll show you guys before I leave is going to be my last multifamily that I bought. I just bought this property. You can see it was really disgusting. I did a new roof, a new deck. The windows were already new. I did some mechanical work on the inside, and I'm in the deal for 112. The house is going to rent out for about 2,600. So let's go ahead and put in a hypothetical purchase price, 145. That's what I sold it for, by the way, 145. I'm under contract right now. How much is my buyer putting down? 29,000, right? This is their monthly payment, 771. 771 plus about 310 for taxes, plus about 150 for insurance. They pay about 1231. So I'm going to take my 2,600, which is 1,300 per side, and I'm going to take 20% off the top. That leaves you at 2,080. Then I'm going to subtract my 1,231. What is 1,231 representing? 1,231 represents the mortgage payment for what my buyer is paying. That's the mortgage payment for $145,000 with the 20% down payment. So now I'm going to subtract my 1,241, and my buyer is making $839 per month. Per year, my buyer is making $10,000. Now, how much did my buyer spend to buy this thing? 29K down plus 10K for closing costs. That's 39,000. My buyer spent 39 and they're getting 10 back, meaning that their return on investment is 26% at 145K. That property is under contract now. I'm in it for 112. I should make about $34,000 on it, and I bought it about a month and a half ago.
Wow.
Does that make sense? So
Yes.
you need to look at the chain. I understand comps. I get it. Somebody made a bad buy and they purchased a property for 170 when the rent was only $2,000 a month, and they bought that property and they're stuck with that property now. And people are going to do that. But if I am to reliably sell deals to savvy investors, I need to be on board with what their numbers are going to be. And the reality is they're looking at what their mortgage is going to cost and what the property is going to bring in. I get that there's comps there, but at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers. And the numbers for that, honestly, man, I'd be massively underwater if I bought that deal.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard.
Absolutely. Good. I didn't mean the thumbs down. I did not put that on the screen. I don't know why it's doing that, guys. I'm literally just cracking my fingers like this and it's doing thumbs down. That's not what I meant. We're going to see if we can. Will it do some fireworks? Come on, give me fireworks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It literally is not doing it. Wow, it's only going to show me negative things? Oh, wow. Useless. Okay, it won't do it. All right, all right. Man, Jason, I really do want to I do want to talk to you. You found a lender, Jason. You found a lender, a private money lender who can fund these purchases on auctions. Hayden, I love you guys. I appreciate all of you. Oh, bro just dropped. We actually have a lender. Guys, we got lots of lenders.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, how's
Awesome.
it going?
Good, good. Yeah, I did. I found a lender that actually specializes in auction lending.
Wow.
And I do have. I can put his email in here for you guys.
Yeah, the auction stuff is fascinating. We've talked about so much on this live stream that I honestly think we should talk about on the next one, because this was kind of a spontaneous, let me bring you up and we can have a conversation about this. Is it cool if we chat tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Okay, huge. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. I need to find time to sit down and lock in on the auction stuff, but this guy Hayden told me something fascinating and I think there might be some synergy there. So I'm going to meet with him really quickly.
Yeah, do it, man. Knock it out.
All right, great, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll do 2 wheel spins tomorrow. I don't know, Jason, don't feel any pressure like you need to go live, but if you want to, it's welcome. And thank you so much.
Oh, I'm scheduled, so yeah, I'm ready.
Great. Well, guys, Jason's going to answer some questions. He's the mobile home park investor I told you about. I drove out to his mobile homes to go see them. It's 3 hours away, but I just had to see it. I had to see it because I was like, this is amazing stuff. Anyways, Jason, we'll talk, man. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. See ya.